It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life on this Monday, August 23rd, 2021. Hello again, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the program. Hope you're safe and sound. If you're living in the Northeast, there was a quasi-tropical storm / hurricane brewing over the back end of the weekend, so hopefully everyone is safe and sound, doing well. I have a lot to talk about today with a lot of very interesting people. I am back from Las Vegas. I was there over the weekend. First time in Sin City in over 17 months. It was a very weird experience, but it was good to be back. And who'da thunk it, I'd be back not for a mixed martial arts event, but for WWE SummerSlam. I hope you enjoyed the coverage. A lot of great stuff for BT Sport. Got to talk to a lot of interesting people who are all big MMA fans. That was the coolest part about the whole experience for me. A lot of them, had heard of the show being back, my work at other places. It was nice. I felt the welcome. I felt it in my heart. I felt loved. I felt like they welcomed me with open arms. And so I hope to do more of that. And don't worry, everyone gets all hot under the collar. Not everyone. Some people get hot under the collar when we talk about pro wrestling, or when there's, God forbid, pro wrestling on my feed. Don't worry. It's primarily a pro wrestling free zone here on this program. Although I got to say, there's going to be a couple of guests later on. We might dabble in it. I just got to say. I will say, though, any young journalists out there, if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'll say this. Covering my first wrestling event, if you will, for the first time in person as a journalist, it felt to me like 2007, 2006, 2008 UFC. And what I mean by that is it felt like the lane is wide open for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 young journalists to come in and seriously cover this sport, form of entertainment, whatever you want to call it, in a good, honest, and professional way. There's not a ton of media there. And I know the history with WWE and media. Of course, I'm not blind to it. I certainly have heard the stories. This is my first time, but, I know the history and the connections to, say, the way other MMA promotions, boxing promotions, treat media. But I'll just say that business has never been more interesting, at least in the last 20 or so years, with the rise of AEW, CM Punk coming back on Friday, Brock Lesnar coming back on Saturday at SummerSlam. And there's just interesting characters with interesting stories. So all I'm saying to a young journalist out there, if you are a wrestling fan, this, I would say, is a really good time. It's a really interesting time. MMA, of course, it's still not at its peak in terms of, enough journalists covering it. But, they're back in 2008. MMA days, if you ask me. So it was a great experience. I enjoyed it. A lot going on in the world of combat, a ton going on in the world of combat between all the wrestling stuff, MMA, UFC having the event on Saturday at the Apex. Jared Cannonier defeating Kelvin Gastelum in the main event, 5-round fight. Cannonier looking good. I have to say, I liked the Apex at the beginning. It was nice. It was quaint. It was intimate, small cage. You can hear the chatter. You can hear the corner. You can hear the fighters. Kind of over the Apex at this point, I have to say. I just feel like it almost feels like, I don't want to say formulaic, but it just feels very similar week to week. Now, what it does do is when there's the pay-per-view, that feels even more special than in the past. And it's smart on the UFC's part, of course. They're saving a ton of money. It's brilliant. You don't have to go to Greenville, South Carolina and do all the marketing and sell the tickets and try to build a card based on that market. No, you just pump them out. Boom, 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 boom. But if you look at it, main events are good and then they get a little weaker as the card goes down. And, it's a lot of younger guys or gals, a lot of Contender Series guys or gals. And I just feel like those events are now starting to look the same. Don't get me started on it going past 1 a.m. Felt like the old FS1 days. It was because it was on linear TV as well, meaning ESPN, ESPN2, not just ESPN Plus here in America. But I'm hoping that in 2022, I'm hearing rumblings that they've re-upped that hotel. They pretty much taking over a hotel next to the Apex. The whole thing. I mean, who cares about what I feel? There's really no reason to leave this model. They're making a ton of money. It's smart. But I'm just saying, as a viewer, it's starting to feel like the same thing each and every night, or I should say each and every Saturday, as far as the viewing experience is concerned. The fights are always going to be different. But with the uniform and the venue and everything, feels a little bit like deja vu. And so I'm hoping for more events outside of the Apex. Nevertheless, a great card with a lot of great finishes. We have a great show for all of you. Remember, twice a week now, Monday, Wednesday. Thank you to everyone who's downloading, who's subscribing, who's reviewing, who's leaving comments. Number 4 on Spotify. Can we get to number 1 this week? Top 10 on Apple. Let's go. Big numbers on YouTube. They said we were dead. They said they had killed us off. Look at us now. Stronger and better than ever. I can't wait. Great show planned for everyone. We've got Kevin Lee joining us. He's fighting this Saturday in Las Vegas. Was supposed to fight earlier in the month. Injured his ribs, so he'll be back this Saturday. Another fight night event. Interesting main event. Giga Chikadze against one Edson Barbosa, who's looked really good at 145. 3 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley, yes, the Tyron Woodley, the chosen one, who meets Jake Paul this Sunday. Showtime pay-per-view, August 29th, Cleveland, Ohio. Did you hear the news that a certain nose is going to be a part of the broadcast team doing post-fight interviews as well in the ring for the very first time? I mean, if that's not worth $60, I don't know what is. Talk more about that later. We're going to be joined by Alistair Overeem. He might be making a big announcement at 2 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. Gable Steveson, the Olympic gold medalist, is going to be joining us at around 1:30. This guy is all over the place. I mean, one of the great free agency tours of all time. But first, let us go to the Zoom machine and say hello to our very first guest of the day. He is the aforementioned Jared Cannonier, the killer gorilla himself, who was victorious on Saturday night. Great fight against Kelvin Gastelum. He won via decision, went 5 rounds with big Kelvin Gastelum. He is kind enough to join us now via the magic of Zoom. There he is. Still, you know, look at that face. I mean, it's perfect. No marks on your face. 5 rounds with Kelvin. Oh, right there. Okay. I mean, yeah. 25 minutes with Kelvin Gastelum and you walk away with just that. That's a pretty good night.
Yes, it was. It was a hard fought night. You know, it was a lot of the game plan worked. As you guys can see, I'm not as beaten up as most of Kelvin's opponents are after their excursions with him. But you know, I came out with my wounds. You know, I got some lacerations inside of my mouth.
Ooh.
You know, that's annoying whenever I try to eat something. My shin, my right foot is kind of sore from kicking him in the elbows. But yeah, man, I got a good little scratch on here. I'm gonna have to start telling those guys to put a lot more grease on my face because they didn't put no grease right there on that part of my face.
What happened? Like long nails or what? What's going on? How did you get the scratch?
I don't know. I do remember catching a thumb. I think it was in the 4th or 5th round. I don't know if that scratched. I think one of the commentators mentioned I was cut before that. I don't know if that's the one they were speaking on. But, you know, I did have some, some damage occur throughout the fight, you know, towards the middle of the fight. So I didn't come out completely unscathed, but I did avoid like serious injury, so I don't have to sit on the sideline again. I'm done with that stuff, and I'm ready to get back to work.
A lot to talk to you about. By the way, you mentioned the cuts inside your mouth. Like I know when I get like a little canker sore, you bite your lip. That bothers me for weeks. I mean, it's the most annoying thing when does that happen a lot? Do you get a lot of cuts inside, like in your back lip there when you're fighting? Is that a common thing?
It only happens when sparring. You know, you get punched in the mouth and the guard doesn't really cushion the, what's the word? Protect the lip, from that stuff. You know, it's supposed to just protect that gum line so your teeth aren't just falling right out. You know, it happens. It's pretty common, and it's common when you train too. Even in jiu-jitsu or wrestling, you know, you may end up biting your lip or, you know, biting your tongue or biting your cheek. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that, but, you know, it happens.
It is the worst. What about going 5 rounds? I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you did go 5 full rounds back in, I think, 2014 when you were fighting in Alaska. But you weren't fighting at 185 back then. You were a bigger boy back then. What did it feel like in the UFC against a top-level guy like Kelvin going 25 minutes, especially considering the layoff? You hadn't fought for around 10 months.
Absolutely. Coming back from injury.
Yeah.
I felt good. You know, I was in good shape. My cardio was always on point. I'm never going to go into a fight and get tired to the point where I can't fight back or defend myself. So, you know, I felt good. I was able to keep up with Kelvin, you know what I'm saying, and you know, bring the fight to him as he brought the fight to me. Of course, it's tiring, especially at that pace. But I wasn't exhausted. You know, I felt good. I was ready to keep going, and yeah, I just felt good. You know, it's good to be back. That's for damn sure.
Man, you hit him with some big shots. At any point, are you thinking, like, what do I have to do to actually put this guy away? I mean, he's got a big head. He's a strong guy. He's got a great chin. He's been there with some of the best. But you hit him with some big shots, Jared. Were you thinking that to yourself at any point?
No, I wasn't getting discouraged. You know, I was just trying to fight the man, trying to find that right opening, you know. Hindsight's always 20/20. As I go back and watch the fight, I see so many of those openings, and you know, I'm like, how come I didn't? Why didn't I? You know, so I guess it's part of the process of growth, if you will.
You said the game plan worked. What was the game plan?
To not stand in front of him and let him throw those big left hands or that big left leg that, you know, we've seen him put people away with. You know, hit me a few times, you know, but yeah, it wasn't a flawless victory, you know, so, but, you know, I got the win either way, so I'm happy with that.
You're happy with that. You should be happy with that. I was just being a nitpicker before talking about the Apex. I'm tired of the Apex. I want the events to feel big again. I want the crowd. I want it to look like it's in a different location. What about you? What was it like being at the Apex?
Well, it being my first time at the Apex, I thought it was pretty nice. You know, they had the warm-up area, had more mat space than that, like a room with just two mats glued together. It's a whole mat area. They had bags. They had a whole slew of workout equipment if I chose to work to get, you know, good warm up on. You know, I did a nice brisk walk on that on the treadmill out there. Hit the bags a little bit. It's right there. You know, you walk right out of the area. It's close. You know, everything is right there. You know, where you need it.
It's probably more convenient for you guys, right? Like the hotel's right there. There's no nonsense. Yeah. Like you got all that equipment. I would imagine, other than the fans and maybe the smaller cage, you'd probably prefer it, right? If you're fighting once, twice a year there.
You know, I prefer convenience. Yeah. You know, so yeah, once or twice a year, and then of course go somewhere else. You know, I would like to fight in front of a big old crowd on the pay-per-view as well. So we'll see what happens in the future. I'm sure that's going to happen eventually, but yeah.
No one talks about the smaller cage anymore. Did you notice a difference? Because when you were in Abu Dhabi with Robert, it was the bigger cage, right?
Yeah. I did notice, you know, with Kelvin, he pressures his fighters. So, of course, footwork was what's the word? It was, of course, my path to victory. I've always had good footwork. I've always implemented it when needed. And it was definitely needed more against an opponent like Kelvin because he comes forward, he moves in, gets close, and try to throw those big shots. So that was the game plan, implement more of my footwork. You know, I think it played against my power, my sort of the image of me being a big power striker and stuff like that, because I was trying to move and stay in range to counterattack, but you know, I guess it's something I have to work on, moving just out of the way, maybe a little bit more, a few more inches. It was a game of inches that night.
So let's take a step back here. Last time we saw you prior to Saturday, Robert Whittaker fight, Abu Dhabi, big time fight, potential number one contender fight. You don't get the W. You also break your hand, correct?
Yeah, I broke the ulna in my left arm.
Oh, damn. That's the scar?
Yeah, that's it.
Holy smokes. That's from like your wrist to almost your elbow there.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, dang. So the first one was smaller than that. The first one was a little bit smaller, like this, about this big.
Okay.
You know, and the plate was small. And then it was declared a non-union. So that means the bone didn't heal back together. So they had to go back in, take all of it out. They did a swab and found that it had like staph in there.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And they put in a bigger rod, did a bone graft from the bone that had grew in around and on the bone, because it was growing, but it just wasn't filling in. So they did a bone graft and gave me a bone stimulator, started all over back in February. Physical therapy was a lot easier the second time through because of all the strength training and the rehabbing of the arm we had did prior. I guess facilitated a more successful healing or recovery at this time.
First surgery was when, and when was second surgery?
The first surgery was the 30th of October.
Okay.
And the second one was the 24th, I believe, of February.
Oh, wow. So you're already almost like 4 months in. Was that, was that kind of a strain on your mind to have to go under the knife? You're thinking you're getting better, and now you got to start from scratch, essentially.
Yeah. When I was going on the knife, that was the time I was expecting to be back in the octagon,
right?
Or at least in camp getting ready for a contender fight. But it didn't happen. Fate decided that, hey, man, we may need to put you on ice a little bit longer, but it's all good. I'm over that. I'm past that. The pec injury, this arm injury, that loss to Robert, I'm past that. I'm back in the win column. I'm back on the road to that title, and I'm injury free right now. So
good.
I'm trying to stay that way.
You went 25 minutes in the fight. Are you thinking please, are you thinking at all about the hand, about not re-injuring it? Was it on your mind at all?
No. Of course, that's what physical therapy is. That's what the physical therapy is for. So when I come back to do my job, I'm not going to be thinking I can't do this, I can't do that with my hand. I can do anything with this hand. I can, punch, I can block, I can handstand on it and stuff like that. So I've been lifting weights with it. And it's only going to get stronger. So my arm is good to go.
After the fight, one of the first things that you said on the mic to Daniel Cormier, which obviously drew a lot of headlines, was you want to get back in there because, as you put it, you're broke. How dire is this situation?
I mean, it's not dire. It's just a natural occurrence, if you will. Of course, coming off of the injury, I'm not balling out of control or anything like that. And a lot of people don't understand that when we have these fights, that we owe people money after these fights. So after this win, 60% of my money is already gone between the gym, between management, between taxes. On top of that, I got bills, credit cards. I got kids. I have a house up in Alaska. I got a house here. I got car payments. That money goes. Money don't last forever. And right now, fighting is our only revenue. I don't have sponsors or anything like that. I ain't got nobody. Fighting is my only focus. I'm not out here doing commercials or anything like that. Nobody's asking me to be in the next Marvel movie. So, and not being able to fight for the last 10 months, put a strain on our pockets. So I'm glad to have gotten back in there. I'm glad that I get 2 checks plus that main event bonus. And I'm glad I'm not injured so I can do it again. I don't need a super quick turnaround, but, the division is moving on. We got big fights coming up this weekend and, and I'm ready to go. So, I'm not, everybody's saying, the UFC needs to pay its fighters. In my situation, when I quit my job, I was able to get paid from the UFC to sustain myself. So I'm not here to say the UFC isn't paying me because I'm getting paid pretty good from the UFC. It's just that money don't last forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here balling out of control. I'm not splurging or anything like that. I'm not stupid. I don't spend my money on dumb stuff, but it's just life, I guess. I would like to get paid. I am a elite level athlete. I would like to get paid like elite level athletes, like the ones in the NFL and the NBA and the ones who playing baseball and soccer and doing all that stuff. They get sponsors, but they get, they don't need sponsors. All they need is that check from that 3-letter organization. So that's what we need here in the UFC. That's who we're all like, So yeah.
I want to preface my next question with this because a lot of sensitive people out there, they'd be like, oh, here's Ariel stirring the pot. No, this is not me stirring the pot. This is me talking to a high level, I think top 3 ranked middleweight in the world in the #1 MMA organization who just fought on ESPN in the main event and won that fight, who might be 1 win away from fighting for the belt. That's why people have big eyes when they hear something like this, because you said the word sustain. The point of all of this isn't to just get by and sustain. You're a professional athlete. The point of all of this is prize fighting. The point of all of this is to get money and to be set for life when you're done fighting, not to just skirt by so that you have to find another job when you retire. And so that's why I think you have a lot of people speaking on your behalf, a lot of fans saying, yo, this isn't right. And so I want to ask you about the sponsor thing as well. Why no sponsors? How no sponsors? I know you can't wear them in the cage, but like you got Instagram, and I noticed you didn't use it a lot for this fight. You used it a lot for the last fight. But you could get paid off that too, right? No one knocking on your door?
No, man, nobody. I mean, I probably got people in my DMs, but nothing like, no big checks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to collect, pennies from here, pennies from there, and I got to work for 10 different people just to get enough to pay my house bill for the month.
No.
I ain't trying. No, I'm not working for pennies. Like you said, I'm a high level athlete who just did all that stuff you just said. You know what I'm saying? I should have 6 figures in my account that I don't even need to touch. You're absolutely right about that. I shouldn't have to worry about, man, if I get injured or I can't fight anymore, what the hell am I going to do? And unfortunately, that is a situation that a lot of us fighters are in, that I'm in myself. You know what I'm saying? My wife is getting ready to get up and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Which is against the structure that we have as a family. You know what I'm saying? She does so much here at the house, maintaining the home, taking care of the kids. You know what I'm saying? Making sure everything is where it needs to be so I can go and do my thing and not have to worry about everything else that's going on. But I don't know. I'm not going to say, well, yeah, whatever, man. Like I said, it's a three-letter organization, the biggest one. It has to be well over 4 billion it sold 4 years ago. So we should be getting paid a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely.
Over the past 10 months, did you have to go get another job while you were on the sidelines?
I mean, my wife started training to start working.
Okay.
So she's doing the intern part right now. She's working without getting paid, but she's on a full-time schedule. So I'm having to, take the kids to school, bring the kids home, help with homework until she gets off, and hopefully I can go to train tonight and tomorrow, at nights. But I can't go to pro practice because I pick my kids up at 3:15, and it's usually the lines wrong. It's a line at the schools and stuff to pick up the kids, so you don't get out of it. It's like 4. Practice starts at 3, ends at 4:30. So this shit, the lack of money is definitely cutting in on my training time. So that's what it was when I worked for the FAA. I had to go over there and work 10 hours, and it was cutting in on my training time. So not the same position, but I'm still, it's still a fight to get out of that. Financial liberty is what we all want. I don't want to be stuck in this matrix, where we have to work for money. When, my mom is 60, my mom is damn near 7 years old. She shouldn't be working, but she is. My mama needs to retire, so we got, I got little brothers and sisters at home. I got a house for the kids, that are looking at me, looking at the other men in my family, and not looking at me, but, that are looking at my mama to take care of them. I got young kids in my mama's house. Of course, I got young kids myself, and I want to look after my entire family. My mama needs to retire. So that was been one of my first things one of the first goals that I had when I got in the UFC was to make it so she can do that. So I would I would like that to happen real soon.
6.5 years in the UFC. Does it bum you out? Do you ever have a moment where you're like, I'm 6.5 years in. What happens when this is over and there's not a lot to show for it? Do you get worried about that?
No, I'm not concerned to myself with what hasn't happened, or you know what I'm saying. At heart, I'm a hustler. I can make stuff happen. I can go anywhere and do anything I want to and make money if I need it. I choose to do this because I enjoy it. I had a 6-figure job before I quit and came to UFC full time. So I'm capable of doing just about anything I want to. All I got to do is put my mind to it, put my hand to it, and make it happen. I'm also surrounded by people who can do that. My wife is that type of person. My family, we care, we look after each other, we take care of each other. So I'm not saying that I'm out on the limb or anything like that, because I got people who I can rely on, thankfully for that. But I want to make it on my own dime. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to do that, and which is what I'm doing in the UFC. So yeah, bigger fights should definitely mean bigger paychecks.
I have to say, and again, I know there are going to be people, because trust me, I've heard it all at this point. There's going to be people saying that I'm just trying to stir the pot here. This bums me out. This depresses me to hear you talk like this, because you deserve, I mean, you go in there and you walk into a cage, with all due respect to some of the other athletes and what they do and the kind of risks that they have to take versus the kind of risks that you guys have to take, what you do for a living. It's just, when you see and hear how the sausage is made, it's a bummer. It's a bummer, because you deserve, at the very least, the show win model to me is so outdated and archaic. Like, you walk into a main event on ESPN for the UFC, you deserve guaranteed pay. Like, it's not like, oh, I hope you get a finish and you can, do something spectacular to get on SportsCenter and then we'll give you double your pay. No, you should get that double pay up front, if you ask me. But, I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, and I hope you know that not only from me, but from the fans as well, who've been speaking about this for the past 24 hours. Like, they want to see you guys get paid. They want you to be making millions of dollars. They want you to make what boxers are making, for the most part, who are main eventing shows on ESPN. And so I hope it changes. And maybe it changes with the next fight. You get a big fight against maybe a Darren Till or a Derek Brunson. And then the next one, I would imagine, is a title fight, right? Like, in my mind, given the fact that Izzy and Robert aren't fighting for the rest of the year, you're probably one fight away from fighting for the belt. Do you view it the same way?
I do. I absolutely do. And like I said in the Octagon, I'm not trying to wait until after them to see if I can step right in line. So we'll see what happens next week with Till and Brunson. I hear rumors that Costa and Vittori are going to be thrown down.
Yes.
So those are a few names that, we can line up to give me my contenders fight and give me another check. And, again, I'm not complaining. It's the UFC pay structure. We sign our contracts.
Sure.
But yes, I do want a bigger check, but I don't want to be like these guys you see in the NFL with, I'm not one of those guys that be going out stunting on people and flossing and splurging like that, There's bigger and better things I can be doing with my money, you know what I'm saying? There's land that needs to be bought because there's other people buying up all the land and they don't care about us. So there's land that needs to be bought. There are specific businesses that need to be open, holistic businesses that need to be catered to, if you will. And I want to open up a gym my damn self, you know what I'm saying? I want to open up a gym in Dallas, actually, because I didn't have that opportunity growing up as a child, and I don't see any martial arts being given to the people in the area where I grew up. So I want to bring martial arts to Oak Cliff, Texas, right there, Polk Street, Camp Wisdom, Wheatland, you know what I'm saying? I want to bring high-level mixed martial arts there. And because there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of people, young people in there. It's a lot of potential for greatness out of that city, man. So right now, the city only caters to the main three ball game sports: baseball, football, and basketball. And, we need to bring martial arts. I think martial arts brings a different element of what's the word, of athletics to the world, if you will.
37, Jared. How many more years you want to do this for?
As long as I can go, man. I love what I'm doing. I'm having fun doing it. I'm capable. I'm able. You know what I'm saying? My body is able to do it at a high level. So I want to do it as long as I can. I want to be 40, 50 years old even, holding that belt. However long it takes me to get 16 of those red diamonds on that belt.
That's right. And I want to say something, if I can, if you don't mind, to the MMA media, because I know that people will write about this, and you have to listen to what Jared just said there. I'm happy. I want to keep going. So I respect you tremendously for speaking up and for saying, I want more. I think I deserve more. But you're not coming across, at least to me, as someone who is ungrateful or disgruntled. You're just telling it like it is. And so I don't want you to get in trouble. I know the way the game is played. You get in trouble, this and that. I have a lot of respect for you for telling it like it is, for just telling the truth, for not sugarcoating, but also at the same time saying, I'm happy and I want to keep going and I have great dreams and aspirations in this sport. So I think it's important when people write about this and what you're saying, because not everyone has the courage that you do to say, and it's crazy to even attach the word courage to it, but let's be honest, that's the landscape. It's important to add that you are also still happy and grateful for the situation that you are in. I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth there, but that's my read on the situation.
No, you're absolutely right. I've never been happier. This is the best job I've ever had in my life. I think the UFC takes very good care of its athletes. They make sure we have everything we need, especially during fight week. You know, who else, you know, who doesn't want to fight? And like you said, it's the premier organization for mixed martial arts in the world. I'm part of history in that regard. And again, I'm grateful and I'm blessed to be a part of this organization. Yes, I do want more money, you know. I would like one fight to be able to hold me up for at least 2 years, not one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then off of that, you know, we build off of that, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I'm not one to, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you, Jared. Well, it's very clear that you are a top contender in the UFC. Izzy himself has talked about wanting to fight you and also wanting to test himself against you, feeling like you are a rightful contender. You're back. Big win over a guy that took him to very deep waters. Wasn't the same kind of fight. I know styles make fights, but I think you maybe get the winner of Brunson versus Till, and then we take it from there and see where you go, and probably get the winner of the Whitaker Israel Adesanya fight. Congratulations. Welcome back. Great performance. Thank you for speaking the truth. Thank you for being honest. And thank you, as always, for coming on, Jared. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm always ever honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to hide my truth for anybody. Even if they think it's wrong or right or whatever, it's my truth. So that's what it is. All I can do is just try to present it to the world, if I want to, as best and as articulate as I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm just transmitting energy. You know, this is just how I feel about the situation. I do want more money, but I'm happy. I'm happy with the check I got yesterday, or was it Saturday night?
Yeah.
You know, I'm content with it. You know, it's enough to get me and my family by. And on to the next one.
Amen. Talk to you soon, Jared. Congrats.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, there he is, the killer gorilla himself, Jared Cannonier. Speaking facts, FAX or TS, as the kids say, more the former than the latter. I feel like these days I have to preface that we saw it with Misha Tate a few days ago as well, where people are talking about saw it with Cyril Gane. And look, I mean, they don't have to speak like this. It's a privilege to get them to speak like this and to be honest and open with us like this. But we also, as media, don't want them to not speak like this. So, you know, it's important to tell the whole story. This, to me, is disappointing. It's upsetting. Am I blind to it? No. Am I surprised by it? No. I feel like it's becoming a trend. We need to get to a point where main eventers on ESPN or Showtime or any other network, we need to get to the point where they are making big-time dollars. Jared Cannonier, top 3, should be making big-time dollars. At this point, 6.5 years in the game. Should be making guaranteed money. I tell you someone who's about to make big-time dollars. I tell you someone who is playing this game like a violin. I mean, it has been a while since we've seen someone play the field quite like this, and I'm enjoying it. Every single picture, every single tweet, every single Instagram post brings a bigger smile to my face than the previous one. This man needs to get paid. This man is on the verge of getting paid. This man has had a tremendous summer. I have dubbed it the Summer of Gable, because he won Olympic gold in Tokyo just a few weeks ago. He's a national champion from the University of Minnesota. He's an All-American, multiple-time All-American as well. He is one of the bright young stars, not only in the world of wrestling, but about to become a bright young star in the world of combat sports. Where is he off to? We'll ask him some of that and a whole lot more right now. It is an honor to have the hottest free agent in combat sports join us right now via the magic of Zoom. The one and only Gable Dan Steveson joins us right now. How are you, my friend? Good to have you on.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm doing fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I see that smile. You are doing such a great job, Gable. Golly. Is this all you? Is someone helping you behind the scenes here? Because what you are doing, every moment I see, you're at Bellator. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about every single stop. But this is fantastic stuff. Who's guiding you throughout this process, Gable?
I'm guiding myself. I decided to take it in my own hands to go out there and meet these people myself. And like you said, it puts a smile on my face and it puts a smile on your face. And that's good. And I'm glad you're paying attention.
Oh, I am paying attention. I love it. I love you playing them all like a fiddle. It's great. Let me ask you this. Can you go on this tour? Because people were talking about you before. I mean, national champion, you were worthy of all the praise. But does this tour happen the way in which it is happening with the kind of buzz that you are generating if you don't win gold? If you get silver in Tokyo, can you still do this in your opinion, or did you need the gold to do all of this?
I feel like in my own minds, I needed that gold medal. That gold medal opened the world to me. It opened the world for me to see, and I feel like a silver medal is still a great accomplishment, but people respect that gold medal. Guys still talk about Kurt Angle winning a gold medal with a broken neck. And so that moment of me in that 13 seconds from silver to gold was game changing for me.
Leading into the Olympics, you have guys like DC, Daniel Cormier, and Chael Sonnen. They're all talking you up. They're all huge wrestling guys, but they're all saying this is the next big thing, not only in pro wrestling, but in fighting, etc. There's pressure going into the Olympics. If you're Joe Schmo from Kazakhstan, let alone you and everyone talking about you, did you feel an immense amount of pressure in Tokyo because of all the hype surrounding you and because of what people were saying could come next if you do win gold?
Yeah, a lot of pressure came about with that. Like you mentioned, there's guys like DC Jones and so many other people reaching out and posting tweets that Gable's gonna tech fall his way through the Olympic Games, and the pressure was there. Am I used to it? Yes. Have I been in spots like that before? Of course. And so being able to take their words and make them a reality, and me winning that gold medal, it skyrocketed through. But the pressure was there. But pressure makes diamonds, and so that's how I think of it.
Do you have any recollection? I'm sure you've been asked this before, but I'm dying to know. You mentioned those 13 seconds. It looked insurmountable. I mean, what were you down? 5 points at that point, right?
I was on 3.
3 points. Okay. Insurmountable stuff. What are you thinking in that moment? Like, did you think, obviously you didn't think it was over because you pulled it off. But are you like, what is it? Do you have any recollection what is going on in your head? I mean, this is one of the all-time great finishes. And I'll be honest, I'm no wrestling historian. I haven't followed it as much as I do MMA, of course. But that was special, and I saw people who I respect very much tell me, I mean, DC's calling me like a kid in a candy store. Like, did you see what he just did? It's freaking 7 a.m. over here in the States. He's freaking out. What is going on in your mind? Do you have any recollection?
Going on through that match was just like emotional roller coaster. I was winning 4-0, then all of a sudden I'm losing 8-5 with 13 seconds left. And so that last 13 seconds was probably just straight hard. It was do or die. 3 weeks in Tokyo, I can't leave with a second place. I need to leave with a gold medal. It was just straight pure heart, and me realizing that he was hurting at the end of the match too. And so, every time we talk about smelling blood in the middle of a fight, middle of a match, and that means like if a shark smells blood, that means someone's near and he's at his breaking point. And I smelled the blood right there, and I knew that at that point, just don't give up and secure these last 2 takedowns, because the first one he gave up really easy, and I sensed it and I smelled the blood, and right after that, I went straight for the last one, and 0.2 seconds left, scored a gold medal.
Perhaps you didn't want to script it this way, but this only just adds to the buzz, right? It adds to the great story of Gable Steveson. Like it just was so perfect. If someone was scripting this, say a pro wrestling company, they couldn't have scripted it any better. Maybe you're doing it with a broken neck, but no one wants you to have a broken neck. So this was just perfect for you. And so I'm wondering, you mentioned those 3 weeks in Tokyo. Mentally, how straining was it? Because I know they had you guys under pretty strict rules. How difficult was it to not really get to experience the Olympics because of COVID?
Very difficult. We got to a place called Nakatsugawa. The people there treat us phenomenally, like really, really good. And so we only had a 1 hour of outside time a day, and that was from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m.
Wow.
After that, we went to practice. We ate lunch and all that. Went to practice again, probably at 3, and then went back to our rooms, turned on movies and stuff, and repeated that for about 2 weeks. And when we got to Tokyo, we weren't allowed to stay in the village because the COVID, and UFC Wrestling wanted us to exclude from that spot. So being over there, it was mentally, I would say it was mentally draining at some points, because, days get long when you're repeating the same process every day. Sure. And I don't have my normal routine at home. I don't have my Xbox and stuff that I can like sit down. I don't have my regular weight room. So I was just going off what I had, and it was exhausting, but at the end of the day, I came back with what I needed, and that's how I came there for.
Is there a part of you that is sort of feeling like you were robbed of the great Olympic experience, or do you not care?
I don't really care. I feel like my great experience was winning the gold medal coming back. That's what I went there for, and that's all I needed.
At what point, how old are you, Gable, when you are starting to think of these plans? Like, oh, I'm going to go to college, D1, I'm going to win a national championship, I'm going to get an Olympic gold, I'm going to go. Like, when did you start putting together this blueprint?
I started putting that blueprint together probably going into college. You know, I won 4 state titles in high school, but when you get to college, that all changed because you're wrestling grown men. At the heavyweight stage, guys are really old. They're matured quicker. So when I got to college, I made like the goals of winning 4 national titles, and obviously I only have 1 at this point because COVID, and I lost my freshman year. So being able to readjust after losing and having that learning experience, and then coming to 2020, COVID cancels our year. In 2021, I was really focused on national title, Hodge Trophy, and gold medal. That's all I wanted, and I dedicated everything I did. Like every day, I woke up and I was locked in. I need a gold medal. I need a national title, and it was just built in me that I had to do it. And I knew when I did it, my life would change forever. And now we're here, and I'm on your show, and my life has now changed forever.
Do you think you win the gold medal if the games are in 2020?
No,
you don't.
That year really blessed me and a lot because I was able to grow as a person. I was able to grow maturely and being able to sit out a whole year because COVID, and just going in the weight room and just relocking in because we had nothing else to do. That's all I did every day, every morning, wrestled. That's all I did. And so I reconstructed myself to mentally lock myself in to have that phenomenal run that I had this year. And it played out really well.
Wow. I appreciate that honesty. I don't think a lot of people would say that. And so when you're a kid, are you growing up, like, did you watch MMA? Did you watch pro wrestling? Did you watch boxing? Were you a combat sports fan, or were you maybe just a wrestling fan?
Oh, everything. I watched everything. Got to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, some people are just locked in. Like, which is your favorite? Outside of amateur, collegiate wrestling, all that, Olympic wrestling, which of the combat sports was your favorite growing up?
Growing up, it was most definitely fighting. Just NWA too. I mean, I would say they're both equal. I don't want to put one of them apart, but fighting, growing up, we had like guys, Anderson Silva and GSP and Lesnar and Couture would fight, and you got Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell fighting each other. So it was crazy that growing up watching them, and I'm at that point now where I am like pretty close to being one of those guys, and younger kids are looking up to me and watching me maybe fight or go on the WWE ring and be that person. So it's kind of a whirlwind of events because I was young watching those guys, and now I meet those guys and I'm in the same shoes they were. And I just hope that my main goal was to inspire them right now, inspire the young kids that were just like me, walking up to famous people, ask for autographs and doing all that. So for me to be an inspiration to them young kids right now is most definitely number one on my list, just because I was that young kid and now I'm 21 years old and I'm seeing the world and I'm meeting all these people like Vince and Dana White's Texan, and it's very cool.
And we shall get to those people in a second, but you did mention Brock Lesnar. You have often been compared to Brock Lesnar, of course, because of the University of Minnesota background. How old were you when you met Brock for the first time?
I was 18 when I met Brock for the first time. Damn. I was a little kid. I mean, it was about 3 years ago, but
with the big hair, right?
Yeah, the big poofy hair. Yeah. I mean, funny story. No one knows the story. I'm gonna tell it now since I'm here. I mean, just people I'm close with. Brock came in one day and we were practicing. In the first video you probably saw on Twitter of me and him wrestling, he was real tired and all that. And he came in and he was like, "You got to cut that shit off your head."
Really?
And I was like, my hair. I was like, what do you mean I like it? And he was like, no, you gotta look like a professional. And so I thought about it for like a few months, and mid-match I'd get my hair pulled and because, headgear and stuff.
Yeah.
I would, a few months later, I went to the barber, and it's a barber I really don't go to. I don't really rock with him like that. He cut me up and I was like, just take the top down a little bit. He messed up my haircut. And but my fade was good, but he cut it off the wrong way.
Oh no.
And so I was like, maybe this is a sign like that it's time for me to cut it all down. And so my mom cuts hair too, and she took the rest of the top off, and I had shorter hair. And then a few weeks later, I was like, you know what? I'm going down to the short, and I'm gonna grow a beard out. So that's how I am now. It's
a good look. Well, what did he say when he saw you the next time with the short hair?
He liked it, Yeah. But it's crazy. It's crazy events. Like I go through like whirlwind of events, like 360s, because I was on the phone with him before I went to Tokyo. He was pumping me up and telling me the ins and outs of what to do and how to be a pro. And he comes out yesterday or Saturday at SummerSlam. He got this ugly hair and the beard and all that. And back in the day, I was telling him, I was like, yo, you remember you told me to cut my hair? And I told him, you got to cut yours off now. It's not looking good.
Oh man, Gable.
I go through like weird 360 events, and it's like crazy. I'm going through them right now because Brock, you got to cut it off.
Okay, so here's the thing, Gable. Brock Lesnar, you know, I've had the privilege of talking to a lot of big dudes, scary dudes, fighters. Without a doubt, the most intimidating man that I've ever stood next to while doing an interview. I can't say that. I'm thinking it, no lie. It's not a great look. It's a horrible haircut. You could say it like that? Holy crap. And you're not afraid that he's going to come and bury you in the sand?
Nah, he knows what it is. I mean, we've had the match in the wrestling room that no one sees. So.
Oh, snap. What have you done? What have you done to Brock? Tell me.
You know, I take care of my business. That's all I gotta say.
So when you're an 18-year-old, you're not intimidated by him? Like, did you have a moment there where this is Big Brad Brock Lesnar?
Bro, I was scared as hell of him.
Okay.
Dude came up and I'm like 6'1". He's about like 6'3", 6'4". He put together and he was absolutely ripped. And I was like, he's bigger than I thought. This is the first time I ever seen him in person. And it was like, but honestly, it's cool to have like that mentor, that role model in my life, and have him do everything that I want to do in such a dominating fashion is cool because he can tell me how he did it and things I can do better. But when I first saw him, I was like, come on now, you gonna have me wrestle you right now? But as the time went on and we got closer and got cooler, it was not like, it was just an easier factor now.
Okay, so now let's get down to brass tacks. We've done the little, preamble of brass tacks. This is big. You're not going back to Minnesota, right? I mean, what do you need to go back there? You've done it all. Like you've got a lot of money waiting for you. We're not going back, right? Can you announce it right here and now?
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I think there's so many options. WWE, football, UFC. I can go back to school for 1 year.
That's what you've been telling to everyone, like that jabroni Patrick McAfee. Let's get down to brass tacks. There is no chance you're going back to Minnesota. Why in the world would you go back? You got your national championship. You got your gold. What do you have to prove there?
I have nothing to prove. The only thing I got to prove is I can win the national tournament again and prove that I'm the baddest NCAA heavyweight that's ever walked through.
Okay, fair enough. That is a good thing to prove. Okay, name and likeness changes things, right? NIL, you signed with Dave Martin. Now you can get paid, right? So probably 5 years ago, it's less of an option. Now a little more of an option because you can get paid to a degree, correct?
Most definitely. It's a great thing that bill and NCAA passed it. And Dave is a great guy. He's turning up. He's doing his thing for me. So I appreciate his efforts, and he's amazing. And he came to Vegas and WWE, and we hit it off. And so he's a great dude. I'm happy he's in my corner. Okay,
so now let's talk about WWE. You're there at SummerSlam. Actually, first, you're at Bellator on Friday. I mean, you're making the rounds. You're showing up. It's great. I love everything about this. Then you're at SummerSlam in Vegas on Saturday, and then you're in the locker room with the big bad man himself, Vinnie Mac. There's the picture of the face. I think we have the picture, your smile. Look at that picture. I mean, look at that. Thumbs up, Vinnie Mac. What was that? Was that your first time meeting Vince McMahon?
First time ever.
What was it like? Tell us. What was it like?
It was simple. We just sat down and had an easygoing conversation. You know how it goes. Just said hey and got in and out. That's all.
Did you talk business? What did you guys talk about?
Like I said, you know how it goes. That's all I'm saying.
I feel. Now,
you know how it goes.
And I see you with all the guys backstage and everything. I mean, did they give you the red carpet treatment? Did they welcome you with open arms?
Well, most definitely. They always welcome me with open arms. You know, Triple H, he welcomes me very well. To me, Vince, that was a warm welcome. You know, so the WWE community and the organization welcomes me with always open arms, with red carpet treatment, which is how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're gold medalist, national champ. Now, what about UFC? Because Dana White said he was going to meet with you in Vegas. Did that meeting happen?
Meeting did not happen. I got to Vegas and I was on go the whole day, so I had no time to reach out or nothing.
You stood up Dana White? You're a bigger badass than I thought.
Man, you know, I don't know. You know, it's just.
Tell me.
He's got my number. He can reach out. You know, he's got my number. He can reach out.
You felt like he wasn't coming at you aggressive enough. He didn't want you enough.
He's not coming at me like that. So like I said, I wait my turn. Dana, you have my phone number. You have my Instagram. I don't run to people. You know, I do my job. I wrestle. I win championships. I put on for the university. I put on for USA. No need for me to run anywhere.
Now, what about Bellator? Did you meet with Scott Coker on Friday?
No,
Was he there? He wasn't there?
I didn't. I don't really know what he looks like. I just saw him from the Twitter video, so I'm not sure what he looks like.
Come on, Coker dropped the ball there. If he wasn't planning on being there, I'd get on the first plane, jet, private, whatever, and I would go there just to meet with you and shake your hand and take that photo op. Okay, now let me ask you this, Gable, as I'm peppering you with these questions. If we go down the pro wrestling lane, is it WWE or bust? Or, there's another company called AEW that's doing some big things. Have you talked to them as well?
No, I've never been approached by AEW. I've never wanted to reach out to AEW. My goal is to get to the WWE and be a big superstar. My goal is to get to UFC and be a big superstar. There's two ways I can go to UFC and try to be the baddest man on the planet, and go to the WWE and be the baddest man over there. So I want the biggest organizations that are gonna put forth my name in a respectful way. And I know AEW can do its job, but I've never been approached, and so we'll see if they approach. But if not, then I just move on and go to my next day. Okay,
can I tell you? You didn't ask my opinion, but can I give you my opinion on what you should do?
Yes.
Okay, you have the blueprint right in front of you. You got the Brock Lesnar blueprint. I would go to pro wrestling first. They build you into a monster. You get the rub. You become a huge star for that audience. You do your thing there, maybe 3-4 years. You're still so young. What are you, 21 years old, right? You're so young. During that time, you're doing your training, you're testing out, the different gyms, coaches, you're finding your footing in the world of mixed martial arts. 3-4 years, you jump over, like Brock Lesnar did, you get right in there with big fights against big names, and then you win that championship, and now you're a national champion, you're a WWE champion, you're a UFC champion, like your predecessor, Brock Lesnar. What do you think of that? So you go down WWE first, and then you make a hard right to UFC.
I think that could be a good idea. That could be a pathway I could take. The Brock Lesnar blueprint and pathway has worked out for him very well, I think. And who knows? Like I said, the decision may come here soon, or I may make y'all wait a little longer. I don't know yet.
I actually was talking to Bobby Lashley, the WWE champion, about you on Friday. He said if he were you, hitch your wagon to Paul Heyman, let him build you up, do that sort of thing. I know you don't want to be completely in Brock's shadow and do the exact same thing all over again, but Heyman has success in doing that. Do you have a relationship with Heyman? Because I've seen him tweet about you and promote you as well. What's your relationship like with Mr. Heyman?
I've been knowing Paul since I was probably junior high school. That's when we first messaged and stuff like that. So I've known him for some years now. And I'm not worried about being in Brock's shadow. I'm not worried about no shadow. At the end of the day, we're all doing our thing. We're all doing a job. There's no shadow. There's no nothing. And there is not one person that's going to be more bigger than the other. And if it's that way, then it's that way. But being in the shadow of someone has never been crossed my mind, because it's a job, it's a business. We're all going to make our own ends at the end of the day.
Do you feel like this was almost pre-written for you, Gable? Your name is Gable Dan. You are named after the legendary Dan Gable. It actually reminds me a little bit like Tyson Fury, the heavyweight boxer, who, I don't know if you know this, was named after Mike Tyson. His father gave him that name. So it's very similar. Do you, I know your brothers were into wrestling as well, but for your family to give you that name, it almost feels like this was your destiny. Do you believe that?
Just a little bit. I feel like just when the name Gable came along, and I started off young wrestling, and I've been in that spot wrestling for so long, and I met Gable for the first time when I was about 8-9 years old, and after that he always reaches out and everything. So it feels like I said, I kind of live in a whirlwind with the haircut with Brock Lesnar and talking to people, things happening. So that was it's like a whirlwind of 360s. Things just flip sides, and I do them somehow after someone else does them years before.
We have one problem with WWE, if you ask me, and I love the way they have you at NXT in the front row, and they're putting you over, and they bring you out in front of the crowd. It was great. But we got a problem. There's a young man there who was a part of the American Olympic team back in the day named Chad Gable. Now we can't have two Gables on the roster. He's got to drop that name, right? Right?
Yeah, he's got to cut the name. He's got to go to wherever.
Not even his real name.
No. My real name is Gable. It's 100% there. Chad Gable. You got to cut the name, my guy.
I agree. Just go by Chad. Now, I have to tell you another thing, Mr. Gable. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a hardcore Buffalo Bills fan right here. Look at that. I got the football right here. Are you talking to the Bills? What's going on? Can you come to my Bills as well? What's happening?
I actually do want to go out there and play football just one time. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. I just go back to my regular profession. But I went to a Gopher football practice. I showed up randomly. Coach Fleck gave me the warm welcome and stuff. And the Bills recruiting coordinator was just there watching the practice, and he was like, came up to me, "Hey, how you doing?" Took my phone number down, and probably like a week later, all of a sudden articles were coming out saying Gable has talked to the Bills. Which it happened, and I told him I knew the coach and I knew how he liked wrestling, and he told me too, and that's how it started.
Wow. Okay. Have you ever played football before, like in high school or anything?
Never. I've never played it down in my life.
And so this is something that truly interests you.
Yes, it does.
Can you give us the pecking order? Like, what's the number one thing? That is it pro wrestling, then MMA, then football? Would that be the pecking order?
The pecking order would probably be try something new first, and then choose the next path after that. So the new thing first probably be play football.
Oh.
Like I said, if I don't make it, then I don't make it. But all options are open. Who may get me first? Not sure.
Okay, so now I'm reading the situation completely differently. Now I'm thinking you might go to the University of Minnesota for one more year to try to go back to back, like Drake once said, and then also try to walk on to the football team and try to do that thing as well. And now you are even making more buzz for yourself as you win the national championship for the second straight time, and then you leave school. Is that what we're leaning towards?
No, you just made up a whole different story.
All right. I'm just trying to crack you, my man. I'm trying to crack you.
You made a whole different story. You know, I can play for the Gopher football program. I mean, they welcome me with open arms, but I can try out for the Bills or another team or beforehand, and who knows. So you're trying to make up a story on me.
No, I'm trying to crack you because you're so damn good. Can I ask, when do you expect to make this announcement?
I expect to make this announcement. I want to do it fairly soon, but if it doesn't work like that, then I won't make it soon. I'll just weigh it out. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna make a good decision and do what's best for me. And if it takes another month, then it takes another month. But I'm hoping before October.
Okay. Regarding school, I apologize for not knowing this. Do you have to tell them by a certain point?
No.
Okay.
I can attend school and not tell them that I'm going to wrestle or anything. So who knows?
Gotcha. And in your mind, I know you're not going to tell us, but in your mind right now, do you have the answer?
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Oh, I know.
It's done.
No, it's not 100% done. I'll say it's about 60% done. Like I said, I'm weighing all options in.
But in your mind, you have a path. Like if someone came to you privately, your mom is like, "What's up, Gabe? What are we doing?" You know what you want. You know where you're going. It just has to all come to fruition. You've already made that decision, sort of.
Most definitely.
Man, Gable, you're so good at this. I don't know. This is just amazing. You're playing us all.
I can't. I'm trying to tell you, but I can't.
Are you trying to tell me? Did I miss a couple clues?
Might have.
Damn. What did you say?
Rewind this and play it again after.
I think WWE. I mean, that smile. Vinnie Mac doesn't smile with people like that. He doesn't smile with
Yeah,
people.
we look good in that picture.
You did look great.
Picture did a lot of publicity on Instagram and Twitter.
It did, and you held the belt as well.
Well, definitely. You know, the belt's heavy.
Did they give you that? Did they give it to you like as a gift, or was it just for a photo op?
It was just for photo op.
Okay. And by the way, what was it like when you walked out? 50,000 people. What was that like?
Oh, it was loud. It was crazy. It felt like I should be there. I felt like it was my calling. But, you know, I could walk out from that 50,000 at the UFC rink next week. You never know.
That's right. That's right. And did you know Brock was coming back? He told you, right?
Nope.
He didn't tell you? Really? You were shocked?
I was up in the suite like,
oh, man.
Like, it was crazy. Like, I was up in the suite like baffled to the fullest. And like, I normally don't get baffled. And like, when he came out, I was like, there is no way.
This is amazing. Well, I would love the storyline of the young Gable going up against Big Bad Brock, shaving his head off, telling him he looks like, you know, a crazy man with that hair. You're doing such great work. I will leave you alone, Gable. Congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on what you're doing, how you're playing this. It actually reminds me a little bit of Kurt Angle back in the day. I think you were too young to remember that, but he did a similar thing where he was kind of playing the field, and he showed up in ECW and WWF at the time. I just love it, and I hope you get paid, my man. I hope you get paid and then some, whether it's NIL stuff with Minnesota, whether it's WWE, UFC. I just hope you get the world and then some. So again, congrats. Thank you for the time, and I can't wait to see what you do. And if you want, hey, by the way, if you want to come on the show and make the announcement here with the hats or something like that, the floor is yours, my friend. Anytime, mi casa, su casa.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for having me, all of those.
All right. There he is. Gable Steveson. Good luck to him. One of the hottest names. If you're not following what this man is doing, on social media, if you are not following how he is just pretty much playing everyone, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, this man has the world in the palm of his hands. He's got the biggest promoters in the game, all essentially fun. Although I gotta say, I mean, you're in Las Vegas, you don't take the time to meet with Gable Steveson. I mean, that's a dropping of the ball if you ask me. Buffalo Bills. I feel like we're going to I feel like we are going to see him in WWE. That's what I feel. It just seems like they really like him. One second. Oh, that was fun. DC talking to me about Gable for quite some time. And by the way, so great to see DC on Friday. First time I see him in 17 months. We had a big reunion. He didn't let me hug him or kiss him, but we went out to eat. It was great to touch base, if you will, to reminisce. It was great to talk to him, not via the magic of Zoom, but via the magic of actual in-person interactions. It was a great thing. And so that was probably the highlight of the weekend for me, if I'm being honest. Like, the WWE stuff was great. They were very kind. It was nice to actually be, treated nice by PR people for once. But if I'm being honest, the actual highlight of the weekend was seeing my good friend Daniel Cormier. All love between us. We were reminiscing, we were talking, we were hugging. Bought my kids $300 worth of merchandise. I actually didn't go to SummerSlam, unfortunately. I was supposed to be there. And there's not a lot of incentive at this juncture for media to stick around post-event because there's no press conference stuff. I think it could actually be pretty cool. AEW does a good job with this with the scrums. I think it would be a cool wrinkle. You bring a couple guys out to talk. Imagine they brought Brock Lesnar out. I doubt that would happen, but that would be a cool way to incentivize media to go to the events. And so there was this hurricane coming to the Northeast, so I actually tapped and left before the event. I was in the air and landed at around 9:30 on Saturday, so I actually didn't get to go to Allegiant Stadium, but I suspect the UFC will be holding events there in the next couple of years. It appears to be a fantastic arena /stadium /facility. I mean, their football team is not going to win anything. They're going to be pretty much a non-factor in the AFC, but nevertheless, a very cool venue, if you ask me. All right, so in a matter of seconds, we are going to be joined by our next guest, one of the all-time greats in the history of combat sports. Of course, former Strikeforce champion, former Dream champion, former UFC contender, former K1 champion, and a longtime friend of this here program. He's been on this show. I mean, when we were doing the little rollout for the show and talking to people about, great moments and posting stuff, courtesy of Robert Pearson, by the way, who's doing a great job. So happy to have him in the mix. You see the drawings. This man was featured as one of the first. He's my friend and yours. He's the Demolition Man. He is the one and only Alistair Overeem, who's kind enough to join us. My man, Alistair. How are you? The legend. Welcome back.
Yeah.
The old show,
Thank you,
Alistair.
sir.
The old show's back. We had so many great memories
The old
here.
show.
The Dougie, Birthday King. Remember? Great memories.
I remember, of course. How can I forget?
I mean,
You still got my iPad.
yeah, I don't know about that, Alistair.
Oh, what?
I feel like there's a statute of limitations there. By the way, some might say that without this show, you're not the legend that you became. Like, this show made you famous. That's what people are saying, not me.
It's all because of you, Ariel. It's all because of you.
Oh, Alistair. Well, it's great to see
You
you.
want some money? You want a couple bucks?
No, I want nothing, Alistair. I just like having
okay.
you on the show. It's great to have you on. It's great to see that big smile. And Alistair, let's not waste any time. You have a big announcement to make, Alistair. I want you to make this announcement. You, my friend, are the A-side here as far as my show is concerned. What's the announcement? Let the world know.
You want me just to spit it out?
I want you to spit it out, and then I want to ask you a million questions about it.
All right. So next fight is announced. Next fight is booked. Next fight is final. We will be challenging for the Glory Heavyweight Kickboxing title October 23. in the Netherlands, in my backyard. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be versus Rico. And I'm very excited.
Okay, Alistair, let me just fill in a couple of the holes here. October 23rd, Glory Collision 3. You, the legend, the former K1 champion, returning to his roots, not only in kickboxing, but also returning to the Netherlands, your home country, to face fellow Dutchman, current reigning, defending Glory heavyweight kickboxing champion, the one and only Rico Verhoeven, in a clash of all clashes, a dream match, if you will, as far as kickboxing is concerned. October 23rd in the Netherlands, 23,000 fans. They are expecting this arena over there, Alistair. You see how
more than that.
More than 23,000 fans. How many are we expecting?
I think it's going to be like 35,000.
Oh my dear.
It's going to be the Netherlands' biggest.
Yes, in Arnhem, Netherlands, at the Yeerdome. Did I pronounce that correct?
Gelredome is called.
Okay, I can't get that correct.
So that's soccer stadium, and yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh, is this an outdoor stadium?
No, it's indoors.
Indoors. Okay.
Yeah.
But you see how I built that up, Alistair? You see how I could promote? I could promote better than any promoter in the sport. You know that, right?
You sure?
Yeah. Well, anyways, this is very exciting. This is a dream fight. This is a dream fight, right?
Yeah, it is going to be awesome. It's going to be big. It's going to be circle will be complete, right? It's in the Netherlands. Started kickboxing back in 1997, and then we went in MMA afterwards, and then we went back into kickboxing. We won the K1 2010 Grand Prix title, and now we're again coming into kickboxing. Oh, one second. Let me just. Yeah, my battery went. Yeah, we're there.
You're back.
So now we're coming back once again into kickboxing.
Now, I spoke to you, Alistair, right when you signed with Glory, when the news came out, and you told me there were basically two things that really interested you, either another fight against Badr Hari or Rico Verhoeven. You went with Rico. You went for the title. Why?
Well, Badr is locked up, right? Badr's got a fight next week.
Yeah.
So he's just booked up, and then... you know, to be honest, me and Badr fought twice. He doesn't hold the title. You know, of course, it's a prestige fight. It's a big fight, but he doesn't hold the title. So, of course, you're going to go high as possible. That's Rico at this point.
For those that don't know, Alistair, what is your relationship like with Rico?
Well, it's actually all right. He was in my camp 2012. We hung out a little bit here and there. Social guy. Can't say anything bad about him. I think he's done great in his career. He's winning his fights. I think he's a good role model for sport. It was not only him, but it was also the Badr fight which really put him on the map. But he won that fight twice, not once but twice. And it appears he's doing everything right.
Who's the bigger star in the Netherlands right now, Alistair Overeem or Rico Verhoeven?
I think maybe Rico's bigger. Yeah.
Come on, really?
Yeah, because he's doing more. He's doing more media. Like I'm not doing any media in the Netherlands, and he is doing all the media he can do. I'm a little bit a different character. Also, I don't really enjoy doing media, especially in the Netherlands. I do not enjoy it.
Why? Tell us why. Why don't you like it in the Netherlands?
Because so I'll tell you.
Please,
in the Netherlands. Criminality is linked to fight sport.
Oh.
So always when I have to give interviews, I have to explain what a good boy I am and how I'm not doing any criminal activities. And I'm just very dedicated. And then they're always like, huh? Oh, you're actually okay. And, you know, I don't care for approval from people that, I don't know. I just didn't. And then Rico, on the other hand, when you look at Rico, you just know he's not a criminal. He's just like a good, clean guy. And, like I said, a good role model for the sport. And he never really had to endure any of that. And then when he fought Badr's kind of like a little bit more old school. Badr is seen as the criminal, and he was kind of seen as a clean-cut guy. And then, he kind of came out of that again as the clean-cut guy. So, and for me, I just always felt I had to defend myself and defend the martial arts. And even though, in the US, the sport is totally accepted. It's a real sport. It's huge. In Japan, before that, it's totally accepted, clean sport. And then I always thought I had to defend that position. And I was like, I'm not really in the mood for that. I just focus on me, focus on positivity. And,
Does it kind of annoy you, blow your mind, Alistair? You're one of the greatest combat sportsmen in the history of MMA and kickboxing, given what you've accomplished there, even though you haven't been there for so long. You're wearing the shirt right over there, K1 World Grand Prix. You're from the Netherlands, right? I mean, the fact that you are almost respected more and treated better by the media in the States as opposed to your home country after all these years, you're in your 40s now, that seems like a shame, no? That seems unfortunate.
No, listen. I never fought for approval of media of anybody. I just do my own thing, right? Yeah, it's not a shame. It's just different markets, right? Every country is different. In the one country, you're going to get more appreciation than the other. I'm not blaming anyone, and it's a little bit the total picture of the sport, right? Because in the Netherlands, there has been some criminal activities done by kickboxing guys or fighters, let me put it that way. Yeah, so it is what it is.
Well, that bums me out. I feel like at this point you have done enough to prove yourself to where they should.
No, listen, people that know my career will give homage, and it's all fine. It's but it was not always the case. That's what I'm saying. Back in the days, I'm talking 10 years ago. Yeah. I had to really defend the sport of kickboxing. And I was just not really in the mood for that. I just got other things on my mind.
Where are you now? Are you in the States now, or are you in the Netherlands?
Yeah, I'm in Dallas at my friend James McSweeney. So we're training at James McSweeney MMA.
Wow! So
great gym, great energy.
Yeah.
But I'm bouncing around a little bit. So I'll be going to Netherlands this week, and I train in Cor Hemmers, Nick Hemmers. So I'm bouncing around a little bit.
So for this camp, because it's not MMA, are you not going to Colorado again?
Oh, I will.
You will go there as well?
Absolutely, I will. Listen, like I said, I'm bouncing around a little bit.
Will you have the elevation guys in your corner? Because again, it's not MMA. You are.
And an elevation guy is going to be in my corner.
Wow, this is fun, Alistair. This is fun. Now, it's
like a puzzle, right? We just figure it out as we go along.
Yes, of course. Now, could I ask, as far as your relationship towards the sport of MMA, since, I know you weren't very happy to leave the UFC when you did. Have you been watching? Do you need a break from it? Did you stop? Like mentally, you're like, I'm just going to take a break. I'm not going to watch this as much. How do you feel?
No. Still a huge fan. Still a lot of appreciation for Dana. And the guys at the UFC, they're doing a great job. I mean, the show is awesome, right? The fights are awesome that they're putting on. Still love the sport, still enjoy the sport. And I better, right? Because I'm coming to the end of my career. And then I'm going to become a coach. So, I still love everybody. Still a lot of positive vibes. And we just keep marching on.
So is that your plan post-fighting? You have decided you want to be a coach?
Yeah. And I've kind of always taught. Besides training myself, and it started out as fun and just a group, and then later one-on-one, and then later I did the seminars, or kind of worldwide seminars, meet and greets, and I don't know, I just really like it. I just really like to give, pass on the knowledge, the experiences. So that is going to be my next thing.
Interesting. And would it be in the Netherlands?
I have not decided yet, but it will also be the Netherlands. But I'm thinking kind of 50-50. I'm not going to be in one spot. I kind of like the traveling around. So I'm thinking Netherlands and another spot. And I've not decided the other spot. I was really thinking about Thailand.
I was just going to say
Big fan of Thailand. We know that, right?
Yeah,
Being there since 2002. But Thailand is not good at the moment, COVID. So you have to kind of take that into consideration. Maybe it'll be US somewhere. Maybe it'll be Dubai. I don't know yet. We're looking at options. I still have some time, right? Still, what is it?
For sure.
Almost done with fighting, but we still have, a year, maybe a year and a half.
And would this be sort of like the Alistair Overeem fight team? Like your own thing? You're not going to go link up with someone. It's going to be your own team.
Well, I kind of really love the Team Elevation guys. Mm-hmm. So we'll have some talks with them. But obviously, if I'm going to start my own gym, it'll be something of my own also.
Okay. And go ahead. Sorry.
No, that wasn't.
Oh, okay. You had mentioned, starting to think about the end and all that. And I know I asked you this the last time, but now that you've had a few more months to think about it, how many fights are we going to do for Glory before, maybe transitioning to that coaching career you just spoke?
I am thinking 3 fights.
3?
Yeah, 3 fights. Maybe 4, but 3, maybe 2. 2, okay. 3, 4, something like this.
Okay, this is I'm gonna lay it out. We're gonna have the big fight October 23rd in let me get it again. Arnhem, Netherlands. Arnhem? Yeah?
Battle of Arnhem, you know your history.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I'm reading it. So you're gonna have that fight. You're gonna win the belt. Then they're gonna do an immediate rematch. So that's the second fight. And then maybe you end it with the trilogy fight against Badr Hari. That's the third fight.
Could be, yeah. Well,
And
nice.
And it sounds to me like if that's the plan, your days of fighting in MMA are over.
Never say never, but could be.
Does it feel that way to you?
It could be. I'm not. Yeah, I know you're trying to pin me down.
No, I'm not trying
That's
to
a little bit what you do.
I mean, look,
Yes, you do.
Remember one time I went to Jackson's, you tried to pin me down. I showed impeccable takedown.
I was very
defense.
successful in pinning you down.
Oh, my
and it almost
God.
resulted in a lawsuit.
No way. What are you trying to say? My hips in that maneuver. I mean, you were shocked at my sprawl, were you not?
Listen, you have never fought in your life.
Yeah, well, that's what you know.
You have
That's
never
what you
punched
think.
another man in your life, have you?
I don't like to talk about
Have
that.
you been punched in your life? I don't even think you ever got punched.
Yeah? Okay, fine. Listen, you believe what you want to believe, Alistair.
Have you ever punched somebody, and have you ever been punched
Where?
in your face?
Oh, okay. I mean, look, you could punch someone in the arm, in the stomach.
No. Have you ever been punched for real, and have you ever punched somebody else for real?
Okay, a lot of people don't know this, Alistair, but before I got into MMA, I had a budding amateur career. I went 15-3 on the amateur circuit. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. A couple of
In
injuries.
what?
In mixed martial arts. No, but listen, in all honesty, I did do boxing training for the last year and a half pre-COVID. And so I was starting to do, the hands were flying, Alistair. I don't know if you know about my double jab. People were starting to compare it to the great Floyd Mayweather. Unfortunately, COVID hit and I haven't been back. So they were starting to say.
I compared it to Ronda Rousey.
Oh, Alistair. Hey, they once said Ronda Rousey was the next Mike Tyson. So, I don't know if you heard that, but a lot of people were saying that. Oh my gosh, Alistair. I don't even know how we got on that. How about the pinning down? Your MMA fighting career is over, yes?
Nah.
Why are you hesitant? Why are you hesitant to say it?
Because I have not retired from MMA, and I know you're trying to kind of. That would be your follow-up question. Okay, hereby you're not. No, I'm not retired from MMA. I'm not retired from fight sport.
I never said fight sport.
We tried to make we tried to make a little bit that Fader fight, and that was kind of like radio silence on that end. Yeah, but that would be something I was interested in. But that was like.
That surprises me that they weren't interested in that one. That's the one in October, but it wouldn't have worked with this because your fight is
listen.
Yeah, okay.
We tried to make that fight 2010 when he fought Verdum and I fought Brett Rogers. Declined. After he lost to Verdum, we tried to make that fight. He declined.
Huh.
And now he has declined. So that's 3 declines. So I think, with all due respect, but there is no interest from that side to fight me.
Interesting.
And I cannot blame Fedor because, listen, I'm getting a little bit older myself. A little bit, not too much, a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older than me. I think he's 45 or 46. So I understand that. But I have done everything I can do to make that fight happen.
Man.
10 years ago, but also now.
10 years ago would have been gigantic. Now it would have been a lot of fun, especially in Russia. But I don't know if the timing would work out because it's around the same time as this fight with Rico.
Listen, we've been talking for months. What are you talking about?
All right.
You're thinking this is all like last week? This is all going in the background for months. And then if there's like no response, yeah, of course, I'm not going to be sitting around waiting till the sun comes up. You're going to move on, right?
Yeah. We had zero response. But listen, doesn't matter. I still have a lot of respect for Fedor. I think he has an amazing career. Love the Russian fans. And he's going to do his thing. I'm going to do my thing. And that's the end of that. This deal that you have with Glory, they allow you to do MMA as well at the same time? That's a good deal, Alistair. Who put that together?
Want to do your first fight?
Me
or what was it? Your 16th fight? Because you were 15-0, right?
15-3.
When did you do 16 fight?
I'm not a liar, Alistair. I'm 15-3, okay? I had a couple of stumbles along the way. You versus me, Alistair, would outdraw you versus Rico. It would be one of the biggest fights in the history of combat sports. Don't you think? Me versus you? Winner gets an iPad. That's it.
You and Rico versus me is a little bit more honest, I think.
Oh, my gosh. I'll be in the corner hyping him up. Now, Alistair, let me ask you, as far as Bellator is concerned, did you even have any talks with them? Not about Fedor, but just in general, once you became a free agent?
yeah, there were some talks. And listen, Scott Coke is great.
Yeah.
Along with him, former boss at Strikeforce. So he was my boss for a couple of years. Good relationship with him and all fine. But at the moment, we're not talking.
Have you started the training for this this bout, October 23rd, Glory Collision 3? Have you started it?
Absolutely, yeah.
What was it like now transitioning?
And the way I see it is, I just take it serious. So I've been in camp. What is it for months now? Putting in the work. Body is there, mind is there, everything is there.
As far as just transitioning to strict kickboxing training, what has that been like for you? You don't have to worry about anything now. Like I would imagine maybe refreshing, right? You don't have to do wrestling, anything. Muay Thai, maybe Muay Thai a little bit.
It's a little switch, right? It's a little switch. Well, for me, it's kind of a little switch, but for most people, it will be like a little bit a bigger switch. I think it's a massive switch from kickboxing to MMA, and actually not done. From MMA to kickboxing is a smaller switch, but it still is a switch nonetheless. Your body needs to harden up a little bit different. Conditioning is a little bit different. It's shorter rounds but high intensity. You're gonna get hit more, right? Your defense needs to be there. So it's different. It's slightly different. No wrestling, no submissions, no submission defense, all that stuff. So it's a little bit less complex, less complicated, but still you're fighting at the top of the line, the top of the world. So you still need to have everything on point.
By the way, did you see your old friend Brock Lesnar return to wrestling this past weekend? Did you see the photos of him?
So the thing is with that whole wrestling thing, I watched it when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, huge fan of those guys. Honky Tonk Man, great, funny, unrated giant.
Yes.
I stopped watching after that. Oh. So I'm not watching since 92, 93, 94. And just recently I started looking again on YouTube and oh my God, this stuff is lame.
Come on.
It's just lame what all these guys are doing. It's fake, it's lame, it's stupid, it's gay, it doesn't make any sense.
Uh-oh. Don't say that, Alistair.
Why?
I mean,
because I'm speaking the truth?
No, I mean, well, just the you said it was, listen, it's for kids, right? Kids like it. My kids like it.
No, that's not true. It's full of audience there.
Well, I know that.
Full of
but it's for all ages.
Grown adults.
What's the difference between that and Game of Thrones? What's the difference?
Really?
It's theater. What's the difference?
You're asking me that?
Yeah. What's the difference? It's theater. It's athleticism. You don't think they're athletes? They're athletes. They're incredible athletes. You can spin around like that and do flips and all that and get landed on your head and all that. You have to respect the craft, correct?
It's lame.
All right, fair enough. Listen, it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Lame.
Did you see his hair?
And it's not even a sport. It's just lame.
Sports entertainment.
It's bad acting. It's just lame.
All right, fair enough.
Sorry for being honest. Listen, sorry for all the fans of WWE, but I'm just being honest. I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah.
Free country, right?
Of course.
I think it's lame, and I just because I hadn't seen it for 20 years. I knew it was there.
Sure.
I never watched Brock fight. I never watched the CM Punk fight. I never watched that stuff. It's from WWE. And then why did nobody warn CM Punk what he was getting into? Of course he can't fight in the UFC. Of course he cannot do that. You should have been more honest. You should have warned that guy for what he was getting himself into.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people.
No.
Wait a second. What? Honest about what? No one thought he was going to become like a UFC champion.
That man got mentally destroyed in the octagon.
Yeah.
And if you look at his
but
WWE stuff.
Who says otherwise? No one says otherwise.
If you look at his WWE stuff, like I never watched his WWE stuff.
Okay.
But if you look at it, then you can just you can already predict it beforehand.
I see what you're saying.
This man is gonna have a bad experience in the UFC. It's not gonna be anything because he's gonna win. He's gonna get somebody tougher.
Right.
Or he's gonna lose, and then he's not gonna lose once. It's gonna always be 2 times or 3 times. And he could get hurt. That's the even worse thing. He could have gotten really hurt.
What about Brock? Brock went from pro wrestling to UFC and did well.
Are you really going to stick up for that guy?
No, I'm not sticking up, but them's the facts. Are they not?
Are you? Aaron,
the
we're
UFC.
having a little disconnect over here.
No.
We're having a little bit of disconnect over here.
No, I'm just here. What's the problem? Did he not have success in the world of UFC before he got sick?
Pre-USADA.
Ah, okay. All right.
Right?
All right. Interesting. So you're saying
Yeah, you're pretending like, what? Huh? Oh, come on, Aaron. Yeah, listen, you used to be the honest guy.
Okay.
Well,
Well, Alistair, if we're going to then say, like, people have said the same about you. Have they not?
Well, I've been fighting 10 years in UFC. It's been, 9 years?
Right.
9 years after my thing. So I guess that clears me of that, right?
No, I know. But I mean, people have tried to describe.
6 years post-USADA. So longer post-USADA than pre-USADA.
Yeah, but he did have the USADA thing with Mark Hunt. So he eventually did get caught.
Oh, okay. What happened there?
He got caught.
Finish your sentence.
What do you mean? He tested positive. He got caught. I think he tested positive twice, if memory serves me correct. It was 5 years ago. Listen, I don't know how we got down this path, Alistair. You know I love you, but I mean, golly, you came out with some fire today here, Alistair. This is something.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know. I look at it and because I'm looking at it on YouTube, you click on one thing and then 5 more clips come up and then you're kind of, what's happening with this guy? I'm looking up. A lot of these guys have passed away, right?
Yeah.
That's the other sad thing about the wrestling.
Very sad.
But, I don't know. I'm just amazed at that. And what I hear is that I have financial difficulty, WWE.
The company or the wrestlers?
Not the wrestlers, but the company.
No, they're actually doing.
Themselves.
No, they're doing well at this point. The issue is the fighters or the wrestlers, I should say, much like the UFC fighters, they don't have a lot of rights. They don't have revenue sharing. They don't have a seat at the table. They don't get sponsors. All this stuff. So they're kind of in the same boat in that regard. Independent contractors, but you can't go out and do whatever you want. That sort of thing. I want to see everyone get paid more. I hope you're getting paid a lot by Glory. Are you? Okay. How big is this fight going to be?
No, I let me put it this way.
Okay.
Getting paid is one thing. Not spending your money is a second.
That's true.
Saving. I've been saving all my life. Right. So you need to. That whole financial thing is a game plan in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody got to figure it out, right? Everybody got to be a little bit clever in that regard. Separate. Yeah.
Are you getting paid more in Glory than you were in the UFC?
Well, listen, you always ask me all these questions. I'm not asking you. Geez.
You can ask me whatever you want. Ask me whatever you want. Ask me whatever you want. Ask me whatever.
No, listen. We're not. Have you not noticed? I never discuss finances.
I know. Well, you kind of opened the door for me there. I'm just saying.
Because I think it is a little bit disrespectful towards the company, but also towards other athletes. I never talk money. I don't flash around with money. I think that's inappropriate.
Okay.
So that's a little bit where I'm at on that.
Alistair, coming up next, surprise guest is going to be Rico Verhoeven, the Glory heavyweight champion of the world. I believe he's listening to us right now. Is there anything you want to say to Rico?
Well, nothing in particular. Maybe, hoe gaat het ermee?
Oh.
Je bent ergens in de achtergrond misschien.
What does that mean?
I'm saying, how are you doing? And you're somewhere in the background.
Oh, wait. What do you mean he's in the background? What does that mean?
Well, he's listening in, right?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you're the man, he's in the back seat. It's now your time.
always trying to throw some gas in the fire, right?
I mean, come on. No one wants to hear. No one wants to hear how you doing before a big fight, October 23rd for the Glory Heavyweight Championship, Alistair. They want to hear some heat. They want to hear some fire.
Yeah, they're gonna see all that, and they're gonna see more.
All right.
But for now, it's all friendly and it's nice. And listen, there's a lot of respect. He's doing a great job. I'm doing a great job. We're gonna collide. We're gonna clash. And fireworks coming up.
Okay, we'll see if he has.
What is that? 8 weeks, 9 weeks?
Yeah, I'm gonna find out right now if he has the same to say about you. Something tells me no. Something tells me he's gonna disparage you from here up until October 23rd, but we'll find out. Alistair,
listen, Rico is a good guy. He's Dutch. Dutch people don't really do that.
Very
what
respectful.
You're saying.
Very respectful.
And not only that, he has a good man image. So I don't expect him to. He's going to be confident, but he's not going to be nuts.
Okay, we'll find out. Alistair, if you were here, I would give you a big old hug. It's good to see you, Alistair, even though we weren't on the same wavelength, as you like to say. I know you love me, and I love you too, and I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Boom.
All right, there he is.
Ariel, always good to see you.
Thank you, my friend. It is a pleasure, and good luck to
Rico,
you.
success. Good luck.
October 23rd, Alistair Overeem going up against Rico Verhoeven for the Glory Heavyweight Championship. Now, a little more information about this. October 23rd, yes, the name, I'm going to screw it up. I don't want to screw it up. Arnhem, Netherlands, Glory Collision 3. It says here over 27,000 fans they are expected, and they are expecting, and the tickets will go on sale September 14th. By the way, those who purchase tickets to Glory 78, which is taking place on September 4th at the Rotterdam Ahoy, will be given early access to buy tickets to Glory Collision 3, which pits Alistair Overeem against our next guest. Here he is, special guest, surprise. We got Rico Verhoeven joining us now via the magic of Skype. Rico, my friend, how are you?
Yes, what's up, Ariel? It's been a while.
It has been a while. Well, congratulations on this fight. This is a big-time fight, Rico. You know this, right? You versus Alistair, the two worlds colliding, the two most famous, dare I say, most famous Dutch kickboxers of all time coming together. I mean, I know there have been a ton of others, but this is a really big deal. You guys colliding October 23rd. What are your feelings, emotions about this fight getting done?
100%. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Of course, I want to congratulate Alistair on getting the fight, because this is the fight that actually everybody wants. So and not everybody gets. So I think it's a huge deal for him. Yeah, for me it's just another day at the office, so it's going to be fun.
I like this, Rico. You're congratulating Alistair on getting the lottery ticket that is Rico Verhoeven. They had to ask you, like, did you feel, hey, you know what, Alistair? You haven't fought in kickboxing in, 11 years? Maybe you should go fight someone first and then fight for the belt. How did this whole, the whole process, how did it all play out?
No, like, I'm not really, like, able to say or do anything about it. Just Glory just suggests or tells me, like, hey, we're trying to get Alistair to fight you. So yeah, just so you know. And all I say is, let's go. I'm here anyway. So
is this a dream fight for you?
Is this a dream fight? Yeah, it is a name that I like to have on the list.
Okay. I mean, this is
to add.
Right. I would imagine
so many guys in Glory, and I think he's a very good add-on to the Glory roster.
Do you feel like it's a little ambitious on his part, that he's maybe biting off a little more than he could chew? He hasn't competed in about 11 years in kickboxing, and now he is coming to fight you, arguably the greatest Glory heavyweight champion of all time, the king right now. I mean, that's a big jump, no?
Yeah, you're definitely right. But yeah, I think that's the fighter mentality and the fighter heart that he has, and he's been fighting for so long. So from my part, I think he knows what he's getting into.
Okay, what did you make of his last few fights in the UFC prior to coming over to Glory?
I think they weren't the best, but yeah, it could be so many things. Maybe just done with MMA, or couldn't get motivated anymore, or I don't know. But I wasn't really impressed with his performances in the UFC. But of course, he had some ups and downs. So he definitely had some good ups, and the last few were some downs. But yeah, it happens.
What is your relationship like with Alistair?
Yeah, we're okay. We're not like hostile or something. It's like yeah, we say hi, we say how are you, whatever. But we're just we're not best friends, but just respect him. Definitely respect him as an athlete.
You trained together in the past a little bit, no?
Yeah, he asked me to help him in his camp versus Bigfoot, back in the day.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. But I came from I think that was my first year trying to become Glory World Champion, and I lost with my only loss in Glory versus Sammy Shield. So it was like, I think 3 weeks later or something, Alistair flew me in to help him out. So I wasn't like 100%, but that was fun. So we get like used to each other, like spar a little bit, hang around, and yeah, that was good.
So you did actually spar him.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously no one talks about what happened there, but it's interesting that that you actually went toe to toe with him. When this fight was presented to you, of all the options, I would imagine this was probably the most interesting one, right? I mean, you had the Badr Hari fight. I mean, like there's not a ton of big names like Alistair available, and especially one that could sell this many tickets. This would seem like a no-brainer, correct?
Yeah, 100%. So for me, actually, Ariel, I got to be honest, to whatever Glory throws at me, I always say yes. I never decline. I never decline the fight.
Really?
Only thing, no, really. Only thing I tell him, like, a fight has to make sense.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense, like a nobody or a no name or whatever. That doesn't make any sense, because the people here, they want to see me fight, and they want to see me fight names they know and the people they know. So then there's a hype we can build up, and I think that's what it's all about. Because next to us fighting, we got to keep in mind that we're entertainers. People want to be entertained.
Do you feel like right now this could, like, how big of a deal do you think this is going to be? Because I was asking Alistair, who's the bigger name in the Netherlands right now, you or him? He said you. He said you do a lot of great media, you know, you're a good-looking guy, you present yourself very well, and that, you know, this could be billed as, you know, legend against the current champ. Like, I feel like they're going to sell these tickets very easily. Do you feel like this is going to be a big, big deal over in the Netherlands?
Yeah, 100%. Because, you know, Alistair left his mark on combat sports in his total, and so he did kickboxing and strike force. He did it all. He was everywhere. So people know him. So especially with that in the back of our minds, is that it's a perfect match.
Do you feel like the history now with Badr Hari, do you feel like it helped elevate you? Did you get what you wanted out of fighting him? Do you feel like you're now a bigger star because of the history with him now? That was a fight that, you know, people were talking about, you versus Badr Hari, for forever.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was a fight like people were talking about, because I think Alistair already put on the tip a little bit, like it was like a bit of good guy versus the bad guy. Right. Well, like for me, I don't really see Badr as a bad guy, but just like that's what the public opinion became, and that's like they just put him in those shoes. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that make like the total hype. It's like a movie script, good versus bad, and then bam, it just explodes. So that was, of course, that was perfect. That was perfect. And yeah, we did what we had to do. So yeah, on to the next.
You mentioned at the beginning of the interview, you know, we hadn't talked in a while. I think the last time we spoke, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the last time we spoke was when you were transitioning to MMA. You were trying out MMA. But that didn't last very long. Why didn't you continue with MMA?
Because I got an amazing offer from Glory. And then, I was like, okay, this is like an offer I can't refuse. So, so that was, for me, that was good. And then I just decided, let's just keep on kickboxing and stay at our craft. And we're good at what we're doing. So, yeah.
So you're currently 32. Do you think you will ever try MMA again? Or are you content if the rest of your career is just fighting for glory, doing the kickboxing thing?
Yeah, never say never. I'm always like open, but to be really honest, it's like I don't think I know it's not my ambition anymore to be an MMA fighter. So, and I think that's a really important key in what you do in life. What you do and what you want has to be your passion. And if I would transition to MMA, I would want to be, and really from the heart, want to be the best. And if that's not the case, then you'll never be successful in what you're doing.
Why do you think, you know, sometimes we have these conversations where it's like, oh, Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury, Stipe Miocic against, you know, Anthony Joshua, whatever. I feel like I actually feel like you versus one of these guys, like a crossover kickboxing versus boxing match, might even be closer and more interesting, especially if promoted the right way and whatnot. Has that ever been discussed? You trying to fight one of these, boxing champions in boxing?
Yeah, it's funny. Of course, I've worked a lot with Tyson Fury some time ago. And yeah, we definitely discussed it, but it was more as a fun thing. But yeah, I would definitely be interested for that. So because back then I know we were talking about, I was helping him doing some kickboxing, he was helping me with boxing, so I was helping him with the kicks. So that was fun. That was fun. So that would definitely interest me.
How do you see this fight against Alistair playing out?
Well, what I like about how Alistair approaches the fight game is he's very technical, and he looks for the weak spots, and yeah, like I said, he just approaches it very technically, and he comes with a game plan, and that's what I love, because that's what I do with the exact same way. So I think it's going to be game plan versus game plan. So in the beginning, it's going to be a little bit trying to play around. And I'm just going to put the pressure on him and show him that we're on a different level. And it's fun that back in the day, he did pretty good in kickboxing, but those days are over. It's just my era now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is great stuff. Did you watch that Grand Prix when he won back in 2010?
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't sure, if you were, I don't know, doing something else, whatever. I mean, that was pretty historic stuff. And then he comes over to MMA and
my whole life. So I've been fighting since I've been 6 years old. So I've been following the game since almost from birth.
So this has to be kind of surreal, no? I mean, Alistair Overeem from your same country, fighting him, massive stadium. This is a really big deal. I know you've had these big fights before, but at least here in the States, he's a bigger name than Badr Hari. I feel like this is the kind of fight that could maybe help cross you over to the States, right? I mean, this is a really big deal.
Yeah. 100%. You're right, because that's what we love to do, especially with Glory now. We just like to expand and do more stuff, and I'm so happy that during COVID, Glory was able to still make it happen, and even have people attending. And I think that's amazing, because the beginning of the year I also did a tournament, a 4-man tournament, and it was no people. It was quiet. It was
weird, right?
Really strange, but yeah, weird. But still, we did it, and now we have in Arnhem the Gelderdome, and it's going to be around 27,000. It's going to be filled 70%. So everybody COVID tested and whatever. So it's I think it's amazing that they're doing such a good job, and especially like you said, for here, Europe and everything. I'm a huge star. I'm doing really good. Over there in the US, of course, because of the UFC, Alistair is the bigger name. So I think this is a perfect way to just blend everything together.
By the way, before I let you go, what needs to happen? What has to happen for kickboxing to get at least somewhat more popular in the United States? Why? It's still strange to me. MMA has enjoyed all the success. Boxing, of course, pro wrestling. It's the only one that for some reason doesn't break through. Why? And what has to happen?
I think the most important reason is, from my opinion, is just the stand-up level in the US isn't the same as the European level. I think that comes from either boxing, and then you just learn a little bit of wrestling, so it's easier to go to MMA. And if you do a little bit if you already do wrestling, for example, in high school, you do a little bit of boxing, you can go to MMA. But kickboxing is a totally different discipline. And yeah, like I said, it's a whole different way of approaching the fight game. So, and I think from that, there's just not too many people just putting the hours in to just learn the craft. just learn the craft and just keep beating that craft and getting better at it. So I think that's the biggest problem. I think the level is getting better because a lot of what you see in UFC, a lot of guys they want to see the same with the people, with the audience watching, is they want to see the stand-up game. And that's what we do at Glory. We're the biggest stand-up combat organization there is.
Yeah.
So there's non-stop action. And that's what you see in the UFC when they're on the ground or grappling too long. When you understand what's happening during grappling, you like to watch it. Like, oh, he's got to watch out for this or that. But if you don't understand it, you just want to see people stand up and just fight. So, and that's what we do at Glory.
And that's why I'm surprised it still hasn't at least reached some level of success compared to MMA, because people are always clamoring for just the stand-up.
100%. But we just, I think the American audience just want to see American fighters, when they fight in kickboxing, to win.
Yeah.
And they win when they fight each other, whatever. But when they get European guys, it's a totally different level. And they get their asses whooped. And then they think like, it's not fun to win if you don't win. Because in the end, we got to be honest, everybody wants his own country. When we watch the Olympics or whatever, everybody wants their own country to win, right?
Sure, but again, and I agree with you. I think that actually applies to hockey. Like they want to root for Americans, not Europeans and stuff. But like you see Conor McGregor, European. You see guys like Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Canadian, Anderson, Brazilian. Like there have been non-Americans who have reached a great level of success in America, right? I mean, Kamaru Usman. But yet for some reason in kickboxing, I don't know what's been the issue.
Yeah, I think the sport is just too small there yet. It's just, the sport isn't like exploded. It's like because of, I think it's a thing that goes hand in hand with the UFC, like just growing up and blowing up with Brock Lesnar as the American and a lot of other guys doing really good. And then of course it's growing, and then we have other guys from different countries coming in, and then they root for everybody. So. I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of those two things. And yeah, let's just hope that the whole kickboxing scene blows up in the US as well. And I would love to be there. I fought a few times I even defended my title a few times in the US, in LA, in New York. So we've been around, but like you said, it isn't as big as here, because here we sell out like 30,000 in a crazy arena, 30,000 people easy.
And for this fight, October 23rd, full capacity.
No, 70%.
70%. All right. Well, that's still going to be great. I look forward to it. I can't wait. October 23rd, the legend Alistair Overeem against the legend Rico Verhoeven. The Glory Heavyweight Championship on the line. Glory Collision 3 is the name of the event. Rico, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Good luck to you. Can't wait for the fight. Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you for your time, Ariel, and always good talking to you.
Yes, sir. There he is, the reigning, defending Glory heavyweight champion, the one and only Rico Verhoeven, kind enough to join us. And that's a big-time fight. You may not be, and I know this is the MMA hour, you may not be a hardcore kickboxing fan, but I'm assuming if you know this program, especially if you've been watching back in the AOL days, I'm assuming you know a thing or two about Alistair Overeem. You've heard of him. You watched him in the UFC. You may have watched him in Strikeforce. You may have watched him in Dream. You may have watched him in Pride. This is a big freaking deal. In 2010, he won the K1 World Grand Prix, and now he's going up against the heavyweight champ. This man is a bad man, Rico Verhoeven. He is the reigning, I don't know how many times he's defended it. It's been a bunch. Retain. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 8, 9 times here. I'm looking very quickly. He's a beast. So that's a big time fight, October 23rd. In fact, we have a little promo. Do we have the promo? Let's run it right here. Glory Collision 3. Take a look at this. The newest member of the Glory roster.
If it's up to me, I would go for the title. So that's Rico.
Alistair, you know, he's been there in the K1 days, but these are the Glory days. And I'm the Glory King.
If I see him in the streets, we fight 100 times. I will mess him up 100 times.
yeah. Look at that. Alistair, if you want something, come to Glory. That was fun. Back to breaking some news here on the program. I mean, broke some news last week, too, but like some fights, it's fun. So again, tickets go on sale September 14th. Glory Collision 3. Over 27,000 fans are welcome to witness this historic event in person in Arnhem, Netherlands. So what are we doing here? We're breaking some MMA news left and right. Turn of the MMA hour. Number one show in the history of mixed martial arts. We're breaking kickboxing news left and right. Dabbled in the world, made our presence felt in the world of pro wrestling. Sit down interview with WWE President Nick Khan. You can check it out now. It's on the BT Sport YouTube page. So doing our thing there. And then, let's go for the, what's the next thing after trifecta? I don't know. Like, what's the four? The quadrangle? Well, I don't even know what it is. What's after the four thing? I know what trifecta is. I don't know what the fourth one is. In any event, point is, let's go to boxing. And this weekend, my friends, is a really big weekend for your old friend Ariel Helwani, because I will be making my Showtime boxing debut. This is a huge opportunity, in the works for quite some time. You may have heard the news it wasn't the weekend, it was before the weekend. I think it came out on Thursday now, if my memory serves me correct. Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul, this Sunday, August 29th, Cleveland, Ohio, Showtime pay-per-view. The fight everyone's been talking about in the world of boxing. You've got Woodley coming over, who's lost his last 4 in a row, up against Jake Paul, the problem child, 3-0 as a pro, 1-0 as an amateur, coming off that win over Ben Askren back in April. Woodley's boxing debut, pro boxing debut, going to Jake Paul's hometown, the quote-unquote YouTuber who's now all in the world of boxing, who's just signed to Showtime. I'm going to be a part of it. And this is honestly, like, jokes aside now, it's a dream come true to be a part of this. I've always wanted to be a part of the broadcast in this capacity. I'll be working as an analyst for the Tommy Fury versus Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor fight. That's the first fight on the main card. And I'll also be working as an analyst, the third man in the booth, for the main event, Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. Now, I say third, I might as well say 9th or 10th man in the booth, because I'll be next to the legend, the greatest combat sports broadcaster of my lifetime, and dare I say of all time, the bipolar rock and roller, my friend, dare I say mentor, my fellow Canadian, Mauro Ranallo. He'll be calling the event. Next to him will be Al Bernstein, boxing, broadcasting royalty. And then all the way to the corner, I'm just going to stay there. I'm going to try to keep my mouth shut and not get in their way, will be me. But on top of that, which excites me just as much, post-fight interviews for all the fights in the ring. Helwani in the ring. Hey, how was the fight? Da-da-da-da-da. How's the fight? Who won next? Da-da-da. Finally, the one thing left on the bucket list. Same night. If that's it, if it's one night only, if it's ECW one night stand, I'll die and go to heaven. I can't wait. And what a cast of characters. And look, I'll just be honest with you. You know me. I was hyped about this before I even got this opportunity. This ain't me shilling. I know there are a bunch of, hater losers online that are going to say, oh, look at Helwani shilling, making it all about himself. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley is fascinating theater. Fascinating theater. You know why this is fascinating theater to me? Let me put my promoter hat on for a little second here. Jake Paul's first 3 fights in pro boxing were a referendum on him as a boxer. How good is Jake Paul? How seriously is he taking this? Right? He's fighting the social media guy. He's fighting Nate Robinson. He's fighting Ben Askren. All right. Is he going to smoke these guys like he should? Is he taking it seriously? Is he in shape? Does he have the fundamentals? He's with Shane Mosley. Now he's with BJ Flores. Great guy, by the way. I had a chance to talk with him a couple of weeks ago. Says he's all in. He's living in Puerto Rico. No distractions. Vegas wasn't good. LA wasn't good. Miami wasn't good. We're all in. We're in Puerto Rico. We're taking it seriously. We got the left hand. We got the right hand. We've got the skills. We've got the fundamentals. Those fights were spectacles and did really well because of the story that no one was interested in the Ben Askren fight to see if Ben Askren had a career as a boxer. We knew what that was. No one was interested in the Nate Robinson fight because we knew what that was. The intrigue was the YouTube kid, the Disney kid going over to boxing. And I think he's been taking his boxing career a little more seriously than Logan Paul. And I'm not trying to bag on Logan Paul, but let's be honest, the fights, there's kind of a path here, and Logan's just doing these big fights. I mean, the Floyd was a big fight, but it's just kind of, all right, what's the biggest fight that we could get here, as opposed to actually building something to 10 fights to who knows how much, building a card. But I'll be honest, what interests me about this fight, about this event, isn't just Jake Paul. Isn't just him going 4-0, coming back home, Showtime. This is a referendum on Tyron Woodley's career. That storyline, which won't get the same amount of pub as Jake for obvious reasons, interests me just as much, if not more, than the Jake storyline. This is the chosen one. This is the former UFC welterweight champion. This is a Mount Rushmore UFC welterweight champion. In my opinion, it's GSP, it's Matt Hughes, it's Kamaru Usman, and it's Tyron Woodley. Those are the four. And there have been great names who have held that belt. Pat Miletich, Robbie Lawler. There have been great names. Matt Serra. Those are the four. But let's call it like it is. He hasn't won in his last 4 fights. Now, the first 3, Usman, Burns, Covington, didn't look like himself. Seemed like he was stuck in neutral. Felt like the old Tyron came back against Vicente Luque several months ago, but ultimately lost that fight. Leaves the UFC. 39. New sport. Young guy. Making a bet. Tattoo. There is a lot of pressure on Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley loses this fight. It ain't the same as Jake Paul losing this fight. And I know Tyron's the underdog. There is an immense amount of pressure on Woodley. Tyron Woodley, the chosen one, coincidentally, what a nickname, is being sent in by the MMA community. I know they didn't book it, but just stick with me here. They are being sent in to shut up Jake Paul. The problem is Jake Paul is becoming a bit of a babyface in the world of MMA because he's sticking up for the fighters. He's talking about fighter pay. He's giving boxers who are on this card a bigger payday than they've ever received in their career. He's kind of messing with us here. But the point is, he's poked his finger at the sport. The MMA fans still don't accept him, still don't like him. Wouldn't like it if he came on this show. And so here's Tyron Woodley, who has never been fully accepted by the MMA community, being the guy who can stop the hype train that is Jake Paul. If you don't see beauty in that theater, I don't know what to tell you. There's a beautiful story to be told, and I hope to tell it. I'm telling it right now. Tyron Woodley needs this win on behalf of the MMA community, but on behalf of himself. That's what makes this so much fun. Ben Askren didn't need that win. We knew he was done. He was plucked out of retirement. Just had hip surgery. We knew what that was. People said it was fixed. It was never fixed. He just wasn't, he couldn't go. And it was a smart booking on their part. They're picking the fights. They've got all the power. Tyron Woodley is fighting for his career. Tyron Woodley is trying to get everyone on his side. This is massive for Tyron Woodley. And that's what I love so much about it. This ain't a freak show. Look at the line. Last I checked, it's very close in favor of Jake. He's boxed before. He's done this longer in terms of pure boxing. But do the boxing fans know, Tyron Woodley's no scrub. He's been on the biggest of stages. He fought on the first MSG card, UFC 205 against Wonderboy. Followed that up, fought to a draw. He's had some big fights. Honda Center, Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. Name them, he's fought there. And so I can't wait to see how this plays out. And so, like I said, a cast of characters is going to be there. Mauro Ranallo, Al Bernstein, myself, the Barstool Sports guys, never met them. Respect, no beef. Dave Portnoy, Big Cat, Phoenix Carnivale, Logan Paul, AJ McKee, Brian Custer. I mean, that is quite the crew, quite the mix of characters. And I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm honored to be a very, 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 very small part of it. One night, that's it. One night only for me. And what an honor to be sitting next to Morrow. I mean, you talk about bucket list, to call, like, with that guy, legend Al Bernstein, to be a part of that scene. And so I go there Thursday morning. I'll actually be doing some sit-down stuff for BT. I'll be doing some stuff for Showtime. Might even do a cool pre-fight thing. More on that later. But this is an exciting time. A little MMA, a little boxing, a little kickboxing, a little pro wrestling. I can't wait. And I love the way they built the card, by the way. Have to say, love the way they built the card. Got Tommy Fury on the card. They've done a great job of building it. It's also going to air on BT Sport. Shout out to them, BT Sport box office in the UK. Tommy Fury and Daniel Dubois. Now, obviously, the Fury one is of great interest. They've been going back and forth. He's the half-brother of Tyson Fury. Great-looking guy. He was on Love Island. My sister told me that she knew who he was because he was on Love Island, and I think he finished in second place, ended up linking up with a young woman named Molly over there. And now they're an item. Now, mea culpa, I've never watched Love Island before, but I hear it's some sort of UK, and this is not me, you know, I'm not working you right here. I have never watched it before, but I think it's some sort of, it's kind of like The Bachelor, but they're on an island, is what I understand. And so he's a very good-looking man. Let's just call it like it is. Looks nothing like his half-brother Tyson. Youngster in the world of boxing, less than 10 fights, I believe off the top of my head, I think it's 6. And let's be honest, the criticism has been he's fighting guys who aren't at the level of his name, right? You know, guys with 0-26 records. But you know what? That's boxing. Like, it's almost unfair to criticize Tommy Fury and Jake Paul for fighting these guys who aren't big names. MMA fans are accustomed to it. It's a totally different model. You're 4-0, you're going to be thrown into the deep end. You're 5-0, you're going to be thrown into the deep end. It's not like that. You get built up 15-0, 16-0, 17-0. Then you start fighting the bigger names. And so because Tommy Fury is such a big star, because he comes from a famous family, his father is famous, of course, John Fury, brother, Tyson Fury, heavyweight champ, people want to expedite his build, his push. So he's fighting Anthony Taylor. Now, there's a big size advantage here. I'm curious to see how much Anthony Taylor weighs. Anthony Taylor has fought at 145. He's fought at 155. There could be a massive size difference in this fight, not only as far as the weight is concerned, but as far as the height is concerned as well. But there's a great story there. Anthony Taylor, former Bellator boxer, 0-1 as a pro boxer, Bellator boxer, former Bellator fighter, Bellator MMA fighter, has trained with Jake Paul. Now, their relationship actually started a little contentiously because he called him out and all this stuff, and they went to spar, but now they're buds, and so they booked Fury Taylor to fight on the same card as Woodley Paul, and it seems like they're trying to book those two if Jake Paul wins, and of course if Tommy Fury wins. But our next guest is looking to ruin all those plans. And so let us go to the Zoom machine and say hello to the aforementioned, the chosen one, Tyron Woodley, who will be representing the sport of MMA on Sunday in Cleveland, Ohio, as he goes up against Jake Paul on Showtime pay-per-view. T. Wood, my man, how are you?
I'm a little work exams, you know, before I go out there and knock this dude nugget off his shoulders.
Where are we right now? Are we in Cleveland, Tyron?
No, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I always like to see the kiddos before I go to war. So stopped in St. Louis to see the kids. I leave out to Cleveland in the next day or so. We get out there and it's lock-in zone is.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you doing this on the move. I know you're very busy. People are pulling at you in a million different directions. So thank you for a few minutes of your time. How would you describe this training camp, Tyron, this experience? Boxing only, no wrestling, no jiu-jitsu, no MMA, strictly boxing for your pro debut, the biggest of fights. How would you describe the experience?
For me, I think it's been a lot of highs and lows in the training camp. And Most of the highs were really, really high highs, and most of the lows were basically to get me through to get to the highs. You know, dealing with just like only punching. I threw a couple spinning back fists during the sparring sessions. So you know, it was some acclimation too, but I got such a dope team and dope camp, and I just can't wait to play the sport. Like anytime, like, you know, I remember this when I was fighting Rory McDonald, you were there. I was fighting Rory McDonald in Vancouver. It was his hometown, and I was doing all the edits, all the videos, all the promos. I had all these crazy sponsors. And I spent so much time and energy around all of the wouldn't do any interviews. He wouldn't let anybody into his hotel room. He was locked in and he was focused. And even when the news came that actually this fight is not the number one contendership fight anymore, he still remained focused. That reminds me of the younger version of Tyron Woodley with Jake Paul is doing. All the down the road, looking at other fighters, all the setting up the theories, a fight on this card, and if was about it, and doing all additional media and all additional bullshit. I'm just going to sit there and smile because I did it once. You know what I mean? And I'm wise enough now as an OG to know that I'm representing MMA, but I'm representing the OGs for real, not the older guys, but the real people that really stand for something. They're really been around the block a couple times, and they got, you know, war rooms to prove it. That's what I stand for. And anybody that really fuck with that are going to love this performance. They're going to love these hands going upside his head. And I didn't buy into the bullshit. I didn't buy into the Disney stuff. I didn't buy into the drama or taking on the extra pressure. And he did. He got so much pressure on him. And I look to go out there and make an example and make a statement.
Okay, this is great. I'm getting goosebumps just listening to you talk here, Tyron. Now, full disclosure, before you coming on, I made the case as to why there may be more pressure on you because of what you've done in your career, because you don't want to lose to the Disney YouTube guy. He's only 3-0. Why do you feel like there's actually more pressure on him as you're trying to go in there at 39 to shut this guy up on behalf of an entire sport?
Yeah, it's more pressure on him in general because this started to him as a bucket list. This started to me as survival. I had to fight. I was walking past a Kimlock with black on. I got to fight because they're my adversary. I had to. This was my lifestyle before it became a sport and before it became a career. This was a bucket list thing he wanted to try, and his following allowed him to do so. But this is in my DNA. This is all I know. This is all I've been doing, since I was a kid. Since I was 2 years old. I've been fighting my whole life. So at the end of the day, when it boils down to everything being constant and even, say he has great trainers. Say he had a great training camp. Say he ran the same as me. Say he sparred just as hard as I did. Say he, you know what I mean, his boxing coaches have elevated his level just like my coaches did mine. Now what are we left with? He's not ready to go in the trenches where I came from. He's not ready to mentally just know if you stop running, you fall and you slip, while these 15 people chasing you, you might die today. He's never been through that. So I'm drawing from a whole nother pool. I'm drawing from 16 years, of mixed martial art experience. Highs, lows, big plants on your face, and big re-ups. You seen it. Mm-hmm. World title losses, embarrassing, knocked out, and come back and go on a crazy run and become one of the greatest welterweights of all time. And I don't feel no pressure. I don't even feel like fight week. I don't have to cut the 35 pounds off of my body. I nearly fucking died every fight. That's why I don't give a fuck. Kelvin Gastelum, all these other people, I didn't give nobody, I gave him a break. But most people, you watch me on the desk, I don't give passes out. I've been cutting, I started off 196 on Monday, every fight week, going down to 170. Now I'm walking around closer to what I weigh. I'm going to have all the power that I never had. I got all the focus that I needed. I got the rebirth. I'm actually excited. When somebody asks me, are you excited? Yes, and it's real. It's not because that's what I think you want to hear. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. And I'm ready for real. So this new wave, you know what I mean? Showtime has really made me remember on how they treated me right before I left. You know what I mean? They really boosted me up, the rising star. Tyron's the one to look out. I was one of the first rising stars of Strikeforce. And it's a whole movie. It's an entire movie, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. partake in it, but I'm not only here to participate. I'm here to fucking take over. And you're going to see Jake Paul get hurt in a way you never imagined. He may not want to do this again after this. And when you think he got goosebumps now, I'm smart too. He's not the only smart one. When you see Champ Camp drop Saturday, when it's too late after the weigh-in drop, you're going to see what I really been doing.
Oh,
what you guys have been seeing has been sprinkles. It's been salt bays. When you see the destruction and the fucking training and the mentality and the coaching and the running every single day, all different terrains, hills, speeds, adjustments, altitude, it's going to be too late for him to back out of this fight. And that's why in the beginning I said I want a no bitch out clause. Because I knew if he saw how hard I really punch and how great my mind really is for this sport, any combat sport, my IQ, and just the coaches, GT, bless your soul, Pedro, bless your soul, Eric Brown, how can these three guys cohesively work together so well? I let him think I was bouncing around. I just walked my daughter to school for her first day of first grade. I haven't seen him in 3 months. I've been in Miami the whole time. I let them think I was in LA, Vegas, Floyd. They was with me. They trained me in Miami. So I was super focused, super locked in, and I had cats out the hat. And this kid's finna get his cap knocked off. And there's a young kid say no cap.
That's right. I've heard them say that. Now, let me ask you, Tyron. This is tremendous stuff, by the way.
You said I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it, Tyron. I love it. Hey, let me ask you.
There you go. I'm glad to hear that you heard of it.
You've faced off with him twice now. Once in Florida, once was in, I believe, LA. Actually, you might have faced off with him the third time in Cleveland as well. Point is, every time you faced off with him, what do you see from this guy, right? He's a different kind of cat. He's brash. He's loud. What do you see when you look into his eyes?
I see a kid that's going to come out, and this is his one chance. Like, think about this. If you got a chance to go one-on-one with Michael Jordan for all the marbles, right? You turn it up. Who cares? You can give everything you got. That's the danger. That's all I see. I don't see shit else. I don't see experience. I don't see alpha male. I'm not gonna say I really saw fear, but I saw maybe uncertainty that he bit off a little bit more than he could chew, because he could have picked the other two. You know what I mean? And he would have got paid the same money, either one. But he picked a person that if he loses, okay, he lost a 5-time champion. Look at his handle. 5 years ago, I was doing this. And he was doing that. He's already hedging his bet. He's already getting back pocket excuses set. He already ready for it. He already put the rematch clause in from the genesis. From the top of the fucking announcement, you already want to say, if he beat me up, I want a chance to get it back? Who's not confident? I'm excited.
Are you going to make him get
You're making me excited.
You're making me excited, Tyron. I don't know if you heard. I'm going to be a part of the broadcast, Tyron. Me and you in there after the big win in the ring together. I mean, come on.
I do. And I remember from the tip top, I said, hey, they better bring the best. You remember that?
I do.
You know our conversation.
I know. You're the man, Tyron.
But look at the alignment, though. I don't want to make it spiritual. You know what I mean? We got a lot of different fans and viewers that come from all different backgrounds. But God is aligning, not only me, but you as well. The alignment. People can try to hold us down all they want. But when you are a son of God and God aligns you, you will fucking go through the top, because he needs your light to shine. You can't dim me no more. I'm lit. Like, I'm serious. Like, everything. Musically, I'm on a whole new level. I got some ignorant music, ignorant television shows. My own television show, writer, producer, signed with ABC Studios. Written by the creators of Dave. Wow. My own. I'm going to be actually executive producing it. Who does that? Show me another MMA fighter. No. I'm the first MMA vlog. Don't forget that ever. Champ Camp was #1. Anything after it is petroleum jelly. I'm Vaseline, right? God created my mind, and he created me to do it. You're one of the first real journalists in this sport, not just somebody that picked up a mic. And I'm not gassing you. I really mean that.
Thank you.
You study this shit. That's why we talk to you differently, because we know you understand what this fight means. You understand what's at stake. You understand the pressures. You do your research. You build personal relationships. It's been times I got knocked out. Guess what, Ariel? You had to say Tyron Woodley got knocked the fuck out. You got to report it the way it is. You know what I mean? So this is the time right now where I feel like when they say the first should be last and the last should be first, we up. and I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's the beginning of much and the beginning of many. In this fight right here, I don't care what whoever had planned. I'm about to go crazy.
Oh my God.
And let me give you my tagline. I'm about to go big.
Oh.
That's gonna make a lot more sense to you later. I'm about to go big. My equalizer, every dial about to be cranked up to the max. And I'm not gonna let somebody tell me that because I started fighting first, I should only punch. No, I'm an artist. And I've always been that way since a kid. I'm a visionary. I've always been that way. And I refuse to sit on my gifts from God. I'm going to turn up in all aspects. Like I told my coach this morning, I was talking to his wife, and we was at the breakfast table, and I was like, man, she said, how do you feel? I said, it's funny you say that, because the way I feel is that if I would have had this knowledge, like I ain't never ran this much in my life, ever. Oh my God. Like stuff I didn't even think was physically possible for me to do at 25. I said, if I would have had this level of expertise with the striking and everything making sense, if I would have had this level of running, if I would have had this level of, just dedication, I said it was a time when nobody could beat me. And I said, I imagine if I'd had that then, I would have not been just top 5 pound for pound. I'd have been the number 1 pound for pound fighter. I wouldn't have lost a second of a fight. And you know what she told me? It ain't over. That gave me goosebumps. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't over. And that's something that I really ain't no ifs.
Okay, when?
We at the no level. When
you win, will you make him get that tattoo?
We know it's when, and we know. There's no ifs and there's no thinks anymore for you or me.
Fair enough.
You're an expert.
Fair enough. Fair enough. When you win on Sunday, will you force him to get that tattoo?
I'll let him negotiate. If you don't want to get if you don't want to get the tattoo, you have to pay me a nice bag.
Okay.
It was his bet. So we can swap it for a bag.
Okay.
Either you get the tattoo or you give up some cash, donate it to my charity.
Tyron, I've talked to you on a lot of Mondays before fights, and I've talked to you on the Thursday before at media day. By Thursday, you can hardly speak. Your voice was so, your throat was so dry, a little grumpy, right? You had the shades on. I don't recall, as I think you're getting a call right now because we just lost you as I'm saying this. Yeah, I don't recall.
I'm back.
Yep. I don't recall you being this fresh, even looking at your Instagram, rejuvenated, fresh, smiling. When is the last time, if ever, that you have felt this way on the Monday before a big fight? We're going to reconnect. Did we lose him? We might have lost him. All right, we'll reconnect with him there. When is the last time, I want to know, because I've been talking to this man for a very long time. I've been talking to him, Strike Force. I remember the Marquardt fight. I remember all of that. And when you talk to him on a Monday and when you talk to him on a Thursday before a fight, the voice is super dry. He's cutting a ton of weight, a little bit grumpy, got the shades on, not in the mood to interact, not in the mood to have fun. It's not this guy. And so, of course, the fact that the fight is happening at 190 as opposed to 170 helps. But he seems rejuvenated. He seems in a great, great place. He seems to be happy. He seems to be excited. And look, man, that's a promo right there. That was like Darren Till last week. That's a promo right there. Tyron Woodley bringing the heat. Man, how could you, listen, forget about when are we going to stop? Putting other fighters, big name fighters, Amanda Serrano on the card, Daniel Dubois on the card, Montana Love on the card, Tommy Fury. I'm just saying, this is a fun little card right here. And I think Jake Paul has a lot to do with it. He's bringing excitement to boxing. I can't understand. It's sort of like the CM Punk thing. And Paul in boxing, obviously more skills than Punk in MMA, came in way younger than Punk did. But the point is, I never hated on Punk coming to the UFC, and I didn't hate on the Paul brothers coming to boxing, because my feeling is rising tide lifts all boats. My feeling is they're not taking anyone's spot. This event is being built for him. And as a result, spots are being awarded. Spots are being gained. It's not like And I remember being in the old studio talking about this during the CM Punk stuff. This isn't the NBA, 15 players. This isn't the NFL. No one's spot is being taken. There's not a finite amount of spots. There's no cap. You get what I'm saying? And so no one's spot is being taken. And that's why I'm down with all of this. Let's go back to the Zoom machine and say hello to Tyron. We'll keep him for just a couple more minutes. I know he has to go, but I think we got him back here. Hey, Tyron, I wanted to ask that
question. Was formed against my connection, but it did not prosper.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. By the way, this connection is way better than before. I don't know what changed, but this is much better, so it's good. Rejuvenated. If I was saying rejuvenated, you on a Monday, shades, a little bit grumpy. You on a Thursday, you can hardly speak. I remember your voice being so dry. I felt bad asking you questions. When's the last time you felt like this? If ever, maybe never before a fight.
In MMA, I've never felt like this.
Wow.
To be honest, in the beginning, I was younger and I was, leaner, and I was working a lot harder. When you first start fighting, you got to do so much because you don't have the skill set yet. And I started at 23, so I had to make it up with wrestling and rah-rah until I built the skill set. So I was in crazy shape and I was leaner. But once I started to develop the skill set, it became more tactical. And more of my time became on formulating game plans. So then I was heavier. You get older, your metabolism slows, you get heavier. So then I had to cut so much weight. And then I was just, to be honest, I wasn't happy. I was so fucking annoyed. I was so, sometimes I felt disrespected. Sometimes I felt like, why am I even fucking here? So the energy, and then, everybody is not as equipped as you are. Like you acknowledge the fact that from a Monday, you acknowledge the fact that I got the glasses when I thought I was being slick, which I guess I wasn't. The glasses on how my voice has changed. You do your research, my man. Most people don't. They didn't have the same microphone next to the same question that they're going to ask me right again. Or they ask me, well, what college did you wrestle in? Or like stuff like that. And it'd be people from my own city. And at the end of the day, you feel like we have to do this to promote the fight and pump it up, and we down for it. But at the end of the day, give us the credit that we're depleting our body, our mind is focused, and it's stress and nerves and so many different things. So I was kind of over it. I really loved the part when I used to be like, I'm the greatest of all time, or Black Lives Matter. When I was giving those one-worders out, that was the best time ever because no matter what I thought in my mind, I just gave them the one phrase, and that was it. But now it's like, I feel like it's too late. Like, he gonna be the biggest bitch on the industry of female dogs if he backs out of this fight now. So now I can talk for real. Now I can say what we really was doing. Now I can show you guys. Come Saturday, make sure if you guys are not subscribed to me on YouTube, subscribe. Saturday, I'm breaking the internet. I promise you. It's gonna be an internet break. This entire camp has been a movie. Like, I can literally make a movie on this one training camp alone.
Is there any fear in your mind, any thought in your mind that he is going to back out?
It was in the beginning.
Really?
I mean, if you try to pull a COVID-19, I'm coming to his hotel and I'm sticking the Q-tip in his nose. I'm going to do it for 7 tests. You know what I mean? I want to see some x-rays. I want to see some ultrasound. I want the doctor to produce the thing to me personally because he don't really know. He don't really understand that the force I punch with and the just certainty of me landing and me seeing it before it happens is not a sparring partner in Puerto Rico can display and mimic and perpetrate.
Man. And Tyron, I have to ask, you mentioned something that piqued my interest. It felt, I know you said, when I said the Black Lives Matter, it was better that way, but towards the end, and I'm even talking about when you were a champion, it felt like you were not just fighting an opponent, you were fighting the organization, you were fighting the brass, you had a lot on your shoulders. Do you feel like a weight has been lifted just being a part of this process and going into this fight? Like you're not fighting everyone and your opponent?
I agree with some parts of what you said, but not all parts.
Okay.
I want to put that out there.
Please.
But I do feel like it's a weight lifted. You know what I mean? Because you never know. Like after I had that conversation I had today, my coach's wife about it ain't over. You don't be surprised. After this fight, you don't know who gonna call me on Monday. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm gonna just keep all doors open. But I did feel that one time I was misunderstood. Felt like I was under promoted at one point in time. I felt like it was always a conspiracy about what was going on. Some of it was me though. I gotta take the ball on it. Sometimes it was me. All times it was not me. But it only takes 1 or 2 times of feeling like, a word was broken to you for your trust not to be there. And for me, I'm from St. Louis. Respect and trust is everything. We live and die by it. Literally, not even just saying it to sound tough. Respect and trust, we live and we die by it. So at the end of the day, I feel like right now, like, man, I text Dana for his birthday, happy birthday. You know what I mean? I don't have no smoke with nobody. I'm about to make a bag. I'm about to beat somebody's ass, and I'm about to change my kid's life.
Okay, what's the prediction, Tyron? Let's leave. And by the
I'm
way,
knocking them out. That's it.
How quick? How quick?
We don't need to know how rounds.
Okay.
I don't even care how quick because I can, like, my last time sparring in the 8th round, I was throwing the most craziest counter combinations with first round power. So it don't matter what round. It's cool for you guys. If y'all want me to say first round because I sound cool if it happens, okay, first round, Mystic Woodley. But it doesn't. I'm patient. I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to take my time, but I'm going to be trying the entire fight to knock him out. And it's not going to be one moment I'm not trying to knock him out.
And just so I'm clear, he has the rematch clause you said, but if that is not exercised, like you're a free man after this. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Business is picking up.
You're gonna go. I told you you're going crazy. Equalizer's up. Go big.
Tyron, I look forward to seeing you out there, Cleveland, Ohio, this Sunday, August 29th, Showtime pay-per-view. What a fight. I get goosebumps just talking to this man. Been through so much. Let's go. Good luck to you. I'll see you out there.
Thank you. All right, my man. Appreciate it.
There he is, the chosen one. And what a nickname, right? What a nickname. I want to know, I mean, dare I ask the YouTube comments? Have your thoughts on the fight changed after listening to Tyron? Because longtime fans of this show will know. Longtime fans of this show will know that Tyron on a Monday isn't Tyron 2 months out. Let's see what the odds are here. Longtime fans of this show will know that Tyron on a Monday isn't Tyron 2 months out. And what I mean by that is a lot more relaxed, can speak and all that stuff. Let me find boxing. Minus 175 plus 145. Minus 175 for Jake Paul. Have your thoughts on the fight. And I know, listen, there's bravado, there's showmanship, there's confidence, there's all that stuff. But I want to know if your thoughts on the fight changed as a result of what you just heard from Tyron Woodley. This is fun stuff. We are living in a very, very fun time for combat sports between what is going on in boxing. Manny Pacquiao just fought, by the way, unfortunately suffered a loss. But, you got these fights, the Paul fights. You got some wacky stuff going on with, Vitor Belfort going over against Oscar De La Hoya, of all people, Anderson Silva enjoying this renaissance, all this, Tyson Fury coming up, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, you've got MMA doing its thing, UFC on ESPN, which is massive for the sport. PFL, by the way, returning on ESPN. Kayla Harrison with the incredible win and the fantastic promo on Thursday. One fight away from becoming one of the hottest free agents in MMA. Brendan Loughnane fighting this weekend, actually this Thursday, I should say, to be specific, August the 27th. That would be a Friday, August 27th. Invicta back, UFC back, pro wrestling and AEW. And I mean, what a time. If you are Alistair Overeem and Rico Verhoeven, when has combat sports been this fun? It's been a while. I love everything about it, and I'm honored. I'm so happy that I'm on that. I'll just say there was once a time where maybe I couldn't have Tyron Woodley on a Monday before a Jake Paul fight on another show. And so I am happy that I have this freedom. I'm happy that I have this independence. I'm happy that I could take part in this fight. There was some talk of working the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight, did not come to fruition for me. But now that I'm able to take opportunities like this, it's very exciting for me. And so that's this Sunday. And I'm looking for, Amanda Serrano, in my opinion, number 3 pound for pound female boxer behind Clarissa Shields and the great Katie Taylor. Would love to see Katie Taylor fight Amanda Serrano, the Tommy Fury stuff. Anthony Taylor, who I will talk to later on this week from Bellator. Daniel Dubois, who everyone said was a bum for taking a knee after his eye socket was busted. I mean, there's some good time stuff coming this weekend. Saturday, though, UFC is back. Edson Barbosa against Giga Chikadze. One of the interesting fights on that card is the return of our old friend, the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee. Edson Barbosa versus Giga Chikadze. There's the tough finals, the middleweight finals and the bantamweight finals. Mea culpa, I have not watched. I'll be honest. Mea culpa. I've been told great fights. There's just so much going on. The taped fights. I am a little bit disappointed that we got back to tough and made it the exact same. The exact same. Same jersey, same format. I mean, am I really to believe that Brian Ortega and Alexander Volkanovski are like, repossessing cars? I mean, are we really to believe that they're doing this on even that has lost its luster. In the past, the hijinks, the pranks felt authentic. Am I really to believe that they changed all the tires, that they brought snakes in there by themselves? I mean, come on. We need to go back to something a little bit fresh, different. I didn't think there was a need. Of course, there's great value, more content, Contender Series returning, so it coincides. But golly, the fact that this is a tough finale and it's not even a tough finale. Who knows that it was a tough finale other than the hardest of the hardcore? Like even that tells you that it's not exactly top of mind. Anyway, one of the interesting fights on the card is Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez. Gerald Mearshart on the card. Sam Alvey. Former Glory fighter, Dustin Jacoby, who's a Contender Series product. But I'm looking forward to talking to Kevin Lee, who we have not seen in quite some time. He's fighting Daniel Rodriguez. As I said, last time we saw him was against Charles Oliveira last March. Remember how weird that scene was in Brazil? Empty arena, the very, very, very early stages of the coronavirus pandemic. He was supposed to return in early August against Sean Brady. Unfortunately, he got injured, and then I guess Sean Brady got injured, and now it's Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez. Fascinating fight. Can't wait to see Kevin Lee back. Always love talking to Kevin Lee, the Motown phenom. And so let's go to the Zoom machine now and say hello to our final guest of the day, the one and only, the aforementioned Kevin Lee. There he is. Kevin, my man, how are you?
What's up, Ariel? Long time no see, huh?
Long time no see. Do you mind panning up a little bit? I can't see the rest. I want to see what we got on top there. I mean, your hair is so...
Oh, that's why it's
a little bit more.
What are you talking about?
A little bit more.
You'll see it on ESPN.
Oh, okay. My bad.
We're trying to jump the gun, Ariel. We're trying to jump the gun.
Just a little bit more, because like it's cutting your eyes. Can you just pan up? There we go. Okay.
How's that? That's better?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah. Just for you. You don't have to show me the hair, but I don't want your head to get cut off. Thank you for doing this, my man. How are the ribs?
They're good. They're healed up. I've been kicked in them a lot, been punched in them a lot. So they are handling everything. My body's right.
What happened? How did you injure them?
I took a shot to the ribs, and really it was because I came back off those 2 knee surgeries, and my body just wasn't used to that level of sparring. I jumped back into a full training camp to get ready for a fight. I think a lot of people overlook, and I'm doing something that not many people have done. I don't think anybody's come back off of 12 months of double knee surgery. So the rest of my body had to catch up with all the work that I've been doing on my legs.
I heard you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that mentally the rib injury, tougher to deal with than the knee injuries, because you felt like you were so close and then it was a setback. Even though it was a minor setback, because of the pain and because you felt like you were close, it was tough on the mind. Is that accurate?
Yeah, because it was the rest of my body, I spent so much time just dealing with the legs and getting my legs strong. And as soon as I felt like they were in the right place, something else went wrong somewhere else. So that made me second guess some things that I was doing. But now that I've healed from that too, I just realized that I had spent that long without sparring, without getting hit. It took a while for my body to reabsorb that shot. So now that I'm able to do that, I realize what it's for. It's all good.
And now, why aren't you fighting Sean Brady?
I guess he had a staph infection on his foot, And, they sent me pictures of it. And that's not something you really want to play with. He almost lost his foot. So I didn't take no shots at him or nothing like that. It was disappointing that we didn't get to fight, especially after getting ready for the guy for so long. And I felt like he was a good challenge. But, you don't want to mess around with staph or any of these infections and having to go to the hospital.
No way. But when the news came out that he was out, I saw you hitting people up. You gave him the old, up, like you were hitting up some big names, but it didn't seem like anyone was taking the bait. Were you disappointed when you got Daniel Rodriguez? Because no disrespect, great fighter, but not exactly at the name level right now as some of the guys you were hitting up publicly.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit at first, because I had never really heard of the dude either. I had seen a picture of him, and I remember the big old 1986 across his chest and all that. But I was a little disappointed at first, but there's two things. One, I'm the one that's the name on the card. I would have made Sean Brady's name, and I feel like I'm going to make Rodriguez's name. So the name part didn't really bother me. I just wanted a good fight. But I felt better about the fight once people actually start calling me about it. And a lot of people that I know in the street that had heard of this dude before, from all his time in prison and all the different street fights and stuff like that he's had. I put a lot of respect on that. I feel like people kind of overlook that a little bit, but I respect 200 street fights just as much as I would respect 200 amateur boxing matches. I feel like those are even closer than MMA fights. So I feel like he's got a lot of experience and he's going to put up a good fight.
How do you feel? You got the tough guys above you. Barbosa and Giga are tremendous fighters, but maybe not as well known as you are. Barbosa been around. Giga's you're lower than those guys. Does that bother you?
No, not at all. I wanted to come back and do a 3-round fight, and honestly, this should have been the place that I did before I did that Oliveira fight. If you remember right, like after I fought and beat Gillespie, I told Joe Rogan, I was like, I don't want a championship fight yet. Like, I don't want a main event. I don't want to do all this. And then 2 months later, I end up fighting the world champion in a main event and kind of rushed myself. So I feel like now is the right time that I take my time. And people have seen me around the UFC for a long time, but I've never really put together a true championship run. And this is going to be the start of that. This is going to be the start of a real championship run. And with a 3-round fight, that sounds good to me. I'm not here for the clout and the fame and all that other shit. That's just going to come.
Now, what about the weight cut? How do we feel about that? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's smooth. It's smooth. It's way better going up to 170. And now that I've actually made the commitment to do it, I know I've taken one fight at 170 before, but even during that fight, I was like, I'm going to go back down. And, I didn't fully commit to it. So I feel like now that I am, the weight cut is good. And I feel like I'm going to surprise a lot of people about how big and strong I'm going to be in there.
Are you fighting at 170 because you feel like now's the time to fight at 170, or is it essentially, and I don't blame you, easier to go down to 170 because you haven't cut weight in March? What are we talking, like 17 months, 16 months?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a mixture of all those things, Did a lot of weight training to come back off the injuries. So I've continued the weight training through camp and through this fight. So naturally, I've gotten a little bit bigger. The 170-pound division, I feel like, is wide open. Even though it's got like the pound-for-pound champ sitting at the top, it's kind of wide open, and I feel like he need a real challenger. So it seemed like timing and everything just works right for me to go ahead and take over this division. I feel like I'm already top 5, so this is going to be one of them fights to show a level of difference that I got.
You feel like you're top 5 170 already?
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love it.
For sure.
Now,
I look at these guys. I look at skill for skill, and like I said, I've been shying away from media and all this stuff for like the last year almost. And I've been watching this whole time, and I see nobody around here. I see nobody that can bring what I bring to the table. I see nobody that got the skills that I got and can do everything in a complete package. I don't see none of them. So, yeah, it's me.
Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, he's a great champ. He's a great champ. I give it to him. But I don't. He's really been challenged yet by anybody, and I'm here to give him that challenge.
Colby Covington, Leon Edwards.
Leon not really up there. Colby's gonna put up a good fight. Leon would make a good fight, but he's gonna have to. He don't bring the complete package. You know, he might have some decent fighting skills, but it takes more than that in this game. I feel like
Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal, Wonderboy Thompson. There's some big names there.
There's some big names. There's some decent names, but they still don't do shit. I mean, really, all the names that you named, do any of them really do shit? No. Those 30s, you know it. They don't do shit. So we'll see.
Are we done at 155? Are those days over?
Yeah, I think so. The only fight that I would come back for is the Oliveira rematch. I feel like I deserve that fight. That would have been a good one to have. So if he racks up a couple more, and we'll see how that plays out. And if they offer me that fight, I'll go back down to fight Oliveira, but nobody else though.
So obviously, I mean, that makes sense. He's the champion. I thought you were going to say the Islam fight.
Nah. I mean, Islam's, he's had a decent little come up, but nah, why? Nah.
You don't think that's a big time fight?
I don't go down, I chase up.
Right.
I chase ahead of me. I'm not looking behind me chasing these dudes. I'm chasing ahead of me. So he don't bring nothing to the table that I would sacrifice all that for.
Here's the thing. I don't feel like it's great to talk to you again, and I'm so psyched that you're coming back this Saturday. Daniel Rodriguez, it's big. But I really don't feel, and I don't even know how to quantify this, that you get the respect that you deserve, because you were calling out Khabib and Islam before everyone. Now they're the boogeyman. Of course, Khabib not fighting anymore, but you were calling them out before they even had names. So it's like the worst call out possible, because they're just the toughest guy who no one knows. And you were calling them out. I mean, like, that's almost where like our little thing started between us. Like, you were calling them out. I was like, oh man, this doesn't make any sense. And I feel like enough people don't talk about that. And I'm not just trying to shine your boots here. You were calling out Khabib long before he was champ, and then you started calling out Islam, and the fights never happened. And that to me is a travesty.
Yeah, it is a little disappointing. Sometimes I say a little too much, and I feel like they got a good manager. At least a smart man. He seen me around a lot, and he did his best they did their best to keep him on the right path. So it is a little disappointing that fight never happened with me and Khabib if he doesn't come back. But I see the man's out there playing soccer, so who knows? Maybe I might pick up a soccer ball or something, kick something around, and we can have a little one-on-one match one of these days. Who knows?
You're like you're trying to like track him down wherever, whenever, on any playing field.
Yeah, I'm a fucking bug, man. I'm a fucking bug. Once I got my eyes on you, I'm on you. I'm on you, and nothing that happens can deter it. That's just a guy I want to test myself against. And, he's a great champion and all that, but people even now are starting to see that he didn't really have the challenges that he should have had, to really be an all-time great. He never really fought a great wrestler, and that was something that I was seeing the whole time coming up. And I feel like now you're starting to see, now that he's getting a little more vocal and people are sitting back and really looking at the whole career, They really seen it for what it is, and not just all this hype and all these Russian bots that kind of get behind them.
I would love. I don't want to see you ever fight at 155 again. Like it's just too much. I don't want to see you kill yourself on the way down there. But you versus Islam would be tremendous stuff. I don't know if he would come up. I just think that would be a great matchup. I would love to see it.
Yeah, me versus Daniel Rodriguez is going to be a great one. Me versus Kamaru Usman is going to be a great one. Me versus Masvidal is going to be a great one. Masvidal's been barking at me for he's been doing them little sneak dishes and all this shit for years and trying to bite the style. So those are great fights. Me versus Colby is a great fight. There's a lot of great fights out here.
Can I ask how much do you weigh on Monday?
I'm 183 right now.
Wow. And what would you weigh on the Monday before a 155 fight?
Probably 178, 179.
So not that much.
I've left on a couple pounds. I've left on about 3 or 4 pounds. But it's a whole lot easier looking at an 11-pound cut versus a 25-pound cut, for sure.
That is cool. Which was the worst?
The worst cut that I've had?
Which fight?
I would say the Ferguson fight was probably the worst cut. But even that last fight against Oliveira, the one that I actually missed weight, that one was pretty brutal too. That was a vicious cut.
Was there ever one that you thought that you were like in serious health trouble?
Yeah, that was the Ferguson fight. The Ferguson one, I felt like I was close to death for sure. It's if I would have had to pull off an extra half a pound, I would probably have to go to the hospital.
Damn. And like, what does that feel like? Like you're just frail, you're convulsed. Like, you're getting cramps. Could you even describe what that feels like?
Like the biggest adrenaline rush that you can possibly feel. It's your body trying to keep itself alive, which compared to regular fighting ain't really shit. And your body is constantly like trying to maintain that homeostasis, right?
Yeah.
It's constantly like trying to keep you stable. So that one was tough. I mean, the Oliveira fight that had a tough weight cut too, and it was one of the big reasons why I'm not going down anymore.
By the way, are you surprised that he became champ?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I said it in a post-fight interview. I kind of gave it to him. I kind of made the man. He bossed up after that fight. He grew a lot after that fight. I feel like I kind of gave it to him. Kind of made him for what it is, and I underestimated him before the fight. I didn't want a championship level fight, and I took his thinking that he wasn't that, and I made him that. So I'm not surprised one bit. I knew it 10 minutes after the fight. I knew he was the champ.
Do you think he beats Poirier if they fight?
Yeah, I think so. I think Poirier gives him the toughest fight out of all those guys down there. It'll definitely be a tough fight, but I just think he has too many ways to win, and he's real aggressive on the feet too, which is something you overlook. And I think he beats him.
By the way, your brother just fought, right?
Yeah. Don't want to speak on that too much, to be honest with you.
Okay, fair enough. I just was wondering if you were there.
No. I stay here in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my brother, our own people.
Gotcha. Fair enough. And so you're back, and it's crazy that you've never fought in the pandemic, even though you were like the first fight of the pandemic. You're fighting at the Apex. For you, do you like this, or would you wish the big return was like, pay-per-view card, sold out crowd? There's going to be like 50 people in there. It's pretty quiet. How do you feel about it returning under these circumstances, or you returning under these circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, the first fight with me and Sean Brady was supposed to be on that Dustin and Connor card, so it was the first fight back with a crowd. I would have. That's why I pushed so hard to still try and stay in that fight even after the injury, but I feel like it's not going to make a difference. I feel like it's another test for sure. It adds a little bit more pressure to the fight, but it's going to be a whole lot better than that fight with Oliveira, that's for sure. There were maybe like 6 people in the arena at that time. Yeah. So 50 versus 6, I'm not mad at that. The boss will sit right there. I can hear my corner. We'll I still have something to put on for sure. Versus that last fight for sure.
Who is the corner this time? Same guys?
We got Faraz Zahabi, Dewey Cooper, who's always in my corner, and Eddie Baracco is the other one. Somebody I've been working with for years down here.
So did you? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you go to Montreal this time?
No. I've been in Vegas this whole time.
So why
Montreal
Faraz?
Montreal just opened up last week.
Yeah.
And for me to travel there, but it's been a great camp here in Vegas. I've lived here in Vegas for a long time. So it's been a great camp, being able to use the PI after coming off this surgery. I'm still getting my physical therapy every day, and I'm using Faraz because we've been video chatting. He's still coming up with the game plan. He still watches all my rounds and critiques them, and that's really what me and him do anyway. He's the mind behind it. It's a little worse not being up close and personal. Obviously, you always want to be there. But we won't miss a beat when it comes down to fight night.
Okay. By the way, I know what you're talking about with Montreal. I'm from Montreal, and it was closed. It was tough. I couldn't see my family, but I was just there, and I posted a picture of the world famous orange julep, and I saw you commented on it. Have you tried their julep? Have you tried the drink?
Yeah. I know the spot. I knew the spot that you was.
It's right across the street from TriStar.
Yeah. That's how I know it. And Tesla's right next to it.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time at that. The little best bagels in the world.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes.
Best bagel.
Thank you for saying that.
And that's one of the best little pre-workout snacks. Actually, you might have just gave me a good idea right now. Probably have me a bagel.
Okay, good. I'm happy. Well, this is very exciting. You're back. You're at 170. You're healthy. The ribs are good. The knee is good. Do you feel a little more nervous, a little more anxious because it's been so long? Like, this is kind of a rebirth, if you will, a new chapter, like a little more butterflies. I know the fight is still, 5 days away, but the Monday, does it feel any different this time because you're so close to finally coming back?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It does. Just because I've thought about it for so long, and once it actually becomes reality, I feel very dialed into it. I feel like I have an abnormal amount of tunnel vision, but that's going to translate into a great fight. Like, I'm really I've got a year's worth of blood that I got to spill out there. So, it's translating to be into a really good fight for sure. I'm a little more nervous. I ain't gonna lie, but the nerves are good. You know how to control them. And I just got to remind myself of who I am and that I really am the best in the world. Even if I don't want to be that, I am that. So I'm going to be that.
You've been there before, and I think this is the first time that we're fighting with the head tattoo, right? You didn't have it.
Yeah.
A
lot of people even noticing me off the head tattoo, and they didn't even see me fighting it yet.
Oh, wow.
So,
what do we got? What are we going to do? We're going to shave it, right? We're going to make it like for the world to see. You're going to put it on display, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, you don't see it on a normal day.
Right. Right. You got to shave that.
It's covered by the hair. So yeah, we'll make a reveal.
Oh man, this is exciting.
Did you like how I did the spin there? I mean,
that was nice. That was nice, dog. That was nice. I see that. I see that Boohoo Man everywhere now. They sponsoring you too?
Yeah. They're working with me.
Okay.
First company I ever really signed with and worked with. So I'm behind them for sure.
Yeah, I see them with Jake Paul. He just announced something. John Jones. By the way, who do you got? Woodley or Jake Paul?
You'll put me on the spot like that, huh?
I mean, come on.
I gotta say Woodley. That's my boy. I know him personally. I don't like a boxing fight, but I gotta say Woodley. I mean, the experience is just gonna be way too much for him. So I gotta say Woodley.
You like Jake Paul? Like, do you like what he's doing, or are you annoyed by him? He's a polarizing guy.
It don't bother me not one bit. I don't really see it. I don't really see the appeal, but I get why Mark's kind of they attach themselves to it because he's the only guy to really put himself out there. And I feel like the people who do have a problem with him, you fucking do it then. It's not that hard to do. It's really not that hard to do what he did. I mean, it's not that hard to kind of win over a lot of people on social media and do all that shit. You can do it if you want to. That's not really what I want to do. So I'm not mad at him for it. I'm not mad at him or anybody else who support him. He's making a lot of money. Shit, more luck to you, bro. More luck to you. I mean, stay out of my way, but if you in your own lane, that's cool.
I like how you said the word marks there. That's a pro wrestling term, like the fanboys, right?
Yeah. See, the fanboys didn't even get it, and you just let them in on it.
Oh.
You gotta really keep some insider information.
Wait, you're a big pro wrestling guy, Kevin?
I'm not, but that's just a good word.
Just not, yeah.
It's just a good word for them. That's just what they are. You. Some people are marks, some people ain't. So most of them are.
I love it. And then you got the smart marks, and then you got the smarks. I mean, there's a whole different, terminology over there. But
you're teaching me some shit now. Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, the smarks are kind of like the guys who are sort of fans, but they kind of know what's going on behind the scenes. And then you got the smart marks, like the internet guys. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy world, but we don't need to get into all of that. I'm excited to see you back. Welcome back, Kevin. Thank you for joining us. Good luck on Saturday, and enjoy fight week. Enjoy everything that comes with it, because you don't have to cut to 155 or 156 this time. So I'm sure it'll be a little more enjoyable.
That part. Raise my water to that.
Yes. Amen.
Appreciate you. Talk to you after the fight.
Yes, sir. I look forward to that. There he is, the Motown phenom himself. Finally back. Remember that fight against Charles Oliveira? It was what was it? I think it was March 14th. March 14th, if memory serves me correct, of 2020. And that was weird. March 7th was Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya against Yoel Romero, Zhang Weili against Yuanian Jacek. That was March 7th in Vegas. Coincidentally, last time I was in Vegas, Mark Mattson fought on that card. Shout out to Mark Mattson. Great win this past Saturday as well. Denmark's own. Very emotional after. He's been through a lot. His family's been through a lot of injuries and everything like that. March 14th, that was full crowd. March 14th, empty arena, if you recall. And it was very weird. It was a Saturday afternoon debate. Should it go on? Should it not go on? Everything else had shut down. That was the last time we saw this guy. And he fought Charles Oliveira, who is now, of course, the UFC lightweight champion. And so it has been a long time. Now he returns as a 170-pounder. And it's one of many big fight cards this week coming up. Like I said, PFL Friday, One Championship Friday, Invicta returning on Friday. Wow, 3 events on Friday. LFA Friday, 4 events. UFC, and that is Saturday. And then, of course, the big one, Tyron Woodley. Just spoke to him against Jake Paul. Now, usually around this time, I'm like, hey, enjoy the fights. No, we're back on Wednesday. We're back on Wednesday. Who's loving this? I'm loving it. Now, this is what I want all of you to do. You continue to rate, you continue to download, you continue to watch, subscribe to the MMA Fighting YouTube channel. Thank you. But also on Spotify, click the follow, click the download. On Apple, click the sub, click the download. Rate, comment, all these things. Let's show these people the power of the Nose World Order. Let's show these people who are trying to silence us that we are the voice of the voiceless, that we will not be silenced, that we will not be held down. And yes, that was paying homage to CM Punk, who returned on Friday at AEW, the voice of the voiceless, the best in the world returning. Yes, of course, we shall pay homage, but we are the same. And I felt like he was actually talking to me when he cut that promo in the ring in Chicago about loving life again, about loving what you are doing again, about feeling alive, about feeling reinvigorated. I felt like he was talking to me because I haven't felt this way in a long time with all these exciting things, but I always come home. This is home. I always come back to this desk. I always come back to this chair. Sorry, did I knock something down? No, I didn't. This feels like my house. Got a nice carpet here. I don't know if you can see it. Got my nice pictures here. I mean, look at this stuff. This feels like home. So thank you very much to all of you for the support. I feel like I have to keep saying thank you. It was a great first week, kicking off the second week the right way, and we'll be back on Wednesday to do it all over again with a new set of guests. For now, though, Frank, my man, you can hit my music. What a fun day. A very eclectic mix of guests. I love these days. When it's an eclectic mix of guests, of personalities, break a little news, get a few things off our chest, recap the week that was, Kayla Harrison with the big win, Czech Congo with the big win, Jared Cannonier with the big win, and Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief with the big win. All right, calm down, everyone. Don't get your knickers in a bunch. Calm the heck down. All right. Thank you very much to all our guests. Thank you very much to the team in the back. Appreciate them very, very much. More than they know. And thank you very much to all of you. Thank you to Mr. Jared Cannonier. Big win. Congratulations. Thank you to Gable Steveson. What a story. And don't call him Stevenson. It's Steveson. What a promo he cut on Brock Lesnar's hair. I didn't expect that. Thank you very much to Alistair Overeem, and good luck to him on October 23rd. And how about the Glory heavyweight champion, Rico Verhoeven, showing up as well? Thank you very much to him. Thank you very much to Tyron Woodley. Can't wait. 6 days away. The chosen one against the problem child for all the marbles on Showtime pay-per-view. Can't wait for that. And, of course, thank you very much to Kevin Lee, the Motown phenom. Good luck to him this Saturday against Daniel Rodriguez on ESPN+. Back on Wednesday, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.